Senator Mohis,
Proxy.
Senator Olaitan. Senator Ono.
Present.
Okay. Both of them. And Ono are here. Reese,
Present.
Shurkin,
Present.
Sussman,
Present.
Senator Radon,
Present.
Dan,
Present.
Toledo. Wang,
Present.
Waidla.
Present.
You got it. Okay, let's move into excuse absences and let's do this quickly, please. Oh, no.
Oh.
I motion to excuse Senator Shurkin from 9 PM. So there's been a motion to excuse Senator Shurkin. Oh, excuse me, 9:30. There's been a motion to excuse Senator Shurkin at 9:30 PM. Is there a second, Chaudhry? And second round of discussion, Lucan. Questions called, call the question.
Consent.
Object like consent, seeing none, much press. That was Ono, Chaudhry, Lucan.
I move to bundle and excuse all absences.
Right, but they have to be listed. First. Usually.
As long as JT interprets it, right?
What do you think, parliamentarian? Is he able to do that?
Yeah, they gotta get home.
You just finished Robert's rules.
We need legal counsel.
That's, I don't,
That's the Attorney General.
okay, can we please keep order? I understand the spirit of it, but I think that allows the president to just excuse everything, and the idea is very much that you're only excused if you send something in and you have a reason for it. So
Is it not recognized?
yeah, no, it's not recognized. Can we? Okay, Dan?
Motion to excuse Senator Wong from 8:20 to 9:40 PM.
There's been a motion to excuse Senator Wong from 8:20 to 9:40 PM. Is there a second, Chaudhry?
Second.
There's been a second. What?
Polly has.
Holly?
Yeah, I just wanted to note for the attendance that there's a Luke Lopez in the audience who is a proxy for Hepburn, and they're saying their mic isn't working. So just wanted to note that on the agenda.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
Well, let's make that happen in acceptance of proxies. So we're now in discussion on the second. Senator Jones?
Motion to excuse Senator
No,
Wang.
we're in discussion on the motion to excuse Senator Wang from 8:20 to 9:40 PM. Sorry, the floor is yours. You can call the question.
Call the question.
The question has been called. Did you call the question?
Yes.
Anything like consent? Seeing none, motion passes. The floor is now yours. Senator Jones?
Motion to excuse Senator Wahidullah at 8:50 for the duration of the meeting.
Do you know who's first second on that? Huh? Okay, who was this first and second for the motion on the wing?
Second.
Got it. And Chaudhry, motion passed. Okay, so there's been a motion to excuse Senator Waidla at 8:50 PM for the duration of the meeting. Is there a second, Chaudhry? There's been a second. We're now in discussion. Call the question. Call the question. Consent. Consent. Seeing none, motion passes. Well,
Senator Olaitan from 9:30 for the duration of the meeting.
I'll be pleased a lot. There's been a motion to excuse Senator Olaitan at
9:30.
9:30 PM for the duration, for the remainder of the meeting. Is there a second, Lucan?
Second.
There's been a second round of discussion, Chaudhry. Questions are called, Judge, call the question.
Second. Point of order, Senator Chaudhry's name is spelled wrong.
Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, any more motions in this section? Okay, let's move into acceptance of proxies. Lucan,
I move to excuse me, I move to accept Luke Lopez as proxy for Senator Xander Hepburn.
there's been a motion to accept Luke Lopez as proxy for Senator Hepburn. Is there a second, Wahilo?
Second.
There's been a second. We're now in discussion. Chaudhry,
Call question.
question, call judge on the question?
Uh,
You guys like consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Any others? There are several proxies here, so. Leave.
Motion to accept Mohammed Azim as proxy for Senator Melody Jones.
Sorry, repeat one more time.
Motion to accept Mohammed Azim as proxy for Senator Melody Jones.
A motion to accept Mohammed Azim as proxy for Senator Melanie Jones. Is there a second, Chaudhry? In a second, we're now switching all.
For the question.
To call the question.
Consent.
You guys like consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Your last name is Azem? And Chaudhry. Or, sorry, it was Lee Chaudhry. What are you doing?
Motion to accept proxy Eddie Barajas for Senator Malhis for duration of meeting.
There's been a motion to accept Eddie Barajas as proxy for Senator Malhis. But is there a second, Chaudhry?
Second.
There's been a second. We're now in discussion. Oh, no. Questions, call the question?
Done.
You guys like consent? Seeing none, motion passes.
Kendall. Shovels.
Pardon?
Motion to accept Kendall.
Shovel.
Shovel.
Could you just spell that, please?
SCHAUBLE.
So it's KENDALL,
KENDALL. Yes,
SCHAUBLE.
yes.
Oh, thank you. There's been a motion to accept, Kendall Shaw was proxy for Senator Manikova. Is there a second? Carter,
Second.
Luke in there.
Second.
It's hard to Luke. We're now discussing, Dan,
Call the question.
motion to call the question?
Consent.
Would you like consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Please be all. Is that everything?
Point of information, that's the correct spelling for Muhammad or? Muhammad.
It's the.
Inshallah.
Is it an E or an A? A?
Yeah.
It's correct now?
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Dan. Okay, sorry again for the delay. We are now in external reports. Do we have any chancellor's representatives? Dean, if you'd like to speak, this would be the most, you don't, obviously don't have to, but.
Just need to bear with this to functional democracy. Thank you.
Function is one way to put it. UCPD representatives? GSA representatives? USEN Governance Board representatives? What about IVCSD representatives? Okay. Do we have any consent to move into section D, public forum?
Consent.
Consent? Okay. Eddie, you're not speaking in public forum anymore, right? That's old.
Meal plan stuff? I mean, that's more with the,
You're proxy, you can speak in that capacity. Is that cool?
yeah, it's more with the doc that you guys have. I don't have any official motion thing. You don't have any
For the resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Mohammed
can
Azim.
speak about that when it gets. Do you want, yeah, just give me your full name, please.
Alex Borges, BORGAS.
VORGAS? I don't like the great Argentine writer. Okay, you have 3 minutes to speak with 3 minutes for Q&A. Please state your name, pronouns, and enunciate, but refrain from yelling. Speculation for senators' intentions is prohibited and may result in your being removed from the ability to speak on the floor. Please note this meeting is being recorded and you may speak on any issues on the agenda. Please call the morning will be graphic. You may only come once new issues not to answer any questions. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you think 3 minutes suffices?
Yeah.
Please feel free.
Okay, cool. Hi all, I'm Alex, he, him. I'm here on behalf of CalPERG. CalPERG is a California Public Interest Research Group. I've got 2 quick updates. First one is about our oceans campaign. If y'all were here last week, I talked about that. As a quick overview, our oceans aren't doing great right now. We're trying to push for marine protected areas, which are like state parks, but for our oceans. So no commercial activity can happen there. This is scientifically proven. When they were first put in place, they surpassed expectations, but they're more effective the more you have and the bigger they are. So we want to get the new petitions that are being introduced by the Fish and Game Commission passed, which is the main thing that we're organizing around. On that note, part of the reason we're able to win campaigns like this is through our pledge drive, which is what we're working on right now. If you've seen us in the Arbor, We have like over 30,000 members across the UC system that pledge a $10 activities fee. It helps us get staffing, training, resources, political power. And also just helps show students are willing to put their money where their mouth is. When you have 30,000 broke college students paying $10 a quarter for a campaign that they support, it really means something. So we're trying to keep that up, which is what we're working on right now. What I'll say is it takes a lot of time and resources. 2 weeks every quarter is not a lot when we'd rather be working on campaigns. So hopefully we'll move to a system where we don't have to have like an opt-in system. It's just an opt-out system where the student body can vote on it during a referendum. The second thing that I'll talk about briefly is our textbooks campaign. This is statewide, also something that other states are working on, which is just textbook affordability. Students shouldn't have to choose between paying for food or rent or the newest version of textbooks in order to pass classes. Part of that, we've been conducting surveys across the UC system of students, asking them how expensive their textbooks are, if they've ever, missed the required textbook for a class, just what their experience has been in general. And come February 10th, we're going to do a press release or conference about that. So the information of that survey and also just advocating for cheaper textbooks and open textbooks. So if any senators are interested in like working on that or think they want to attend the conference or just any collaboration in that realm too, feel free to reach out. My door's always open. So yeah, that's all I got for today. Yeah.
Arthur?
Thank you so much for coming today and talking about your initiatives. I think it's really great. The 30K is really significant, seriously. I'm definitely interested in working with you in some capacity. I just need to get your information for everyone.
Yes. Email.
Sure, that would work.
A Borges at ucsb.edu.
And I'm sorry, B or B?
B.
B.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I had. Thank you very much.
Logan, do you have a question?
Yeah. Thank you for coming in. Really appreciate it. The textbook initiative sounds awesome. Senator Dan and I are also working on something with NAS, just creating a grant program for students to pay for textbooks. So would you be interested in potentially collaborating or working together?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to hear about it.
Awesome. I'll reach out to you.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Alex.
You have 3 minutes for questions. Anything else? Ross? Or, yeah, Proxy Ross.
You mentioned that students are able to opt out of the $10 if they wanted to.
Yeah, what I meant by that is the current system that we have right now. Other activities fees for other clubs, they're just automatically part of your tuition. The way our pledge system and funding is made right now, students like sign the paper and then it gets added to their bank account, the $10 activities fee or CalPERG fee each quarter. So yeah, right now it's an opt-in system. It is possible to remove it from your bank account, but I think what I was trying to say is that we want to move to a system, sometime in the future in the next couple of years, where students are automatically opted in and then they opt out like it's any other club. And then student body votes on it every couple of years or however many times to yeah.
So like,
It's like a referendum system.
so if I'm a freshman,
Yes, you're right. Go on.
if I'm a freshman and I see, I'm in the group and it automatically charges me, would I like on my BARC account see that there's this $10 cost? Or like, how can I discover that I'm paying towards something?
Yeah, I think that's how, I'm not sure exactly what the logistics of it are. Because that's honestly like probably someone who's working on that at the statewide level would be a good person to ask. But it would be something along those lines. As it is right now, since students actually have to be like approached and sign a physical piece of paper, there's nothing online. They would know that it's going to be on their account, which is how it's set up right now. Yeah.
Anything else? All right, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Anyone else here for public forum? Please. Second. Would you get your full name, please?
Henry Bedron, B as in boy, I-E as in dog, R-O-N as in Nancy.
Cool. You're the speaking agreement earlier?
Yeah.
Do you think 3 minutes is enough?
Yes.
Please feel free.
Hi, so I'm Henry, he, him. I'm a graduate student researcher in psych and brain sciences. I study collective action. So I study protests and strikes. So I don't know if you've heard, but there's a UC workers are bargaining right now with UCOP for like a new contract, which means there's a possibility that there'll be a labor strike sometime in the winter or spring. Part of my job to study how people think about those kinds of strikes. So I'm here advertising for a paid research study. It's a weekly study, so you do one survey at the start, one survey at the end, which you get paid $4 for, and then 2 surveys per week with a 50% bonus if you complete 80% or more of the study. So theoretically, if a strike lasts 4 weeks, it's $25. And that, if you don't want to do the math yourself, is about $20 an hour for the time you spend. So we try and make it a good deal for you guys. We care a lot about what undergraduates and students think about these kinds of movements. Your opinions matter. So that's why I'm here. I've got some signups with a QR code. If you're interested, or if you think other people would be interested, we're reaching out to departments. So happy to take questions and happy to hand these out to anyone who's interested.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you. You willing to take questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
First off, thanks for coming. Sussman?
Yeah, so you mentioned obviously a strike is most likely gonna happen the next quarter or two.
Yeah, I wouldn't say most likely. I'm not going to venture a guess. I don't know for sure, but there's the possibility the strike could occur.
So in the circumstance that there is a strike that occurs, can you explain kind of what that looks like, whether it's like a TA strike or if it's more of a
Yeah,
unionized strike?
so the strikes would be with the UAW unit on campus, which includes TAs, GSRs, and now recently with bargaining, there's been an inclusion of a certain type of like administrative worker, like a administrative facilities person. So there would be, that whole group would be on strike.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Henry. It's a pleasure to meet you. I really appreciate you coming today. I'm actually just interested in like, your research specifically. Can you just speak for a moment as to, what you're looking for, perhaps? Kind of what the scope of the research is? I get the general gist, but.
Yeah, I won't speak too much to this study just because it's sort of it's research. Yeah, you can introduce systematic bias by telling people what you're looking at. If you participate in the survey, you'll be debriefed on exactly what we're looking at. I'll say generally, what I study is moral and ideological predictors of collective actions. So what gets people on the picket line, what gets people to do protests, and what are the things about people that makes them see collective action different. So we look at those kinds of predictors.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Henry. Thank you for coming. Just to clarify, you come to Senate to ask for funding, is that right?
No.
No, not funding.
No,
Just
we're
to-
offering to pay you, and we think
Okay,
it's
just to
important that
get the word out
undergraduate
there,
voices are heard.
Okay.
Sorry, can we, please, one speaker at a time? No, I'm not saying you just got 5 voices at a time. Please lead and then question, response.
Yeah, sorry, finish first.
Yeah, so we're not asking for any funding. We're offering to pay you, and we think it's important that student voices are heard. So that's why we're advertising this opportunity. We don't need any.
By payment meaning to individual
Yeah,
student.
to individual
Yes.
students.
Lee?
Is there anything you want specifically from Senate besides just sharing the opportunity out with us?
I mean, if you would like to, there'll be emails coming through different departments. If you wanted to forward those to student groups or constituencies that you think would be involved, I'm trying right now to get a student-wide one to go out, but obviously participation is more effective when it comes from people they know. So if you think it's more effective coming from you, it'd be great if you could forward the email.
Okay.
Hi, Henry, thanks for coming in. Have you been in contact with with AS's external vice president of statewide affairs?
I haven't. No.
Okay, I would recommend getting in contact with her because this
Is that
seems
the
like-
person you suggested I get in contact with?
I don't believe so, but
Okay,
after you explained the research and it seems like that would be a good fit, so I can send you a.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You can just forward that?
Yeah.
Anything else? Yeah, thanks for coming in. Could you briefly just go over what the UAW demands are? Just this time around, is it just like COLA or
Yeah, so there's an online resource for it, and I'm not here representing the union.
Yeah, for sure.
I am a union member, but I'm not a union representative in any capacity here. I'm just a researcher, but to speak briefly to it, a lot of the primary focus right now is on job security. So benefits for, workers who have kids, benefits for workers who have to go on leave. International student rights, so trying to help people through visa processes, and then COLA, I think, is at the end of the list.
Thank you. Bye.
Hi, thanks for coming here today. I'm also in the psych and brain department, so I think this is really awesome. And I was just wondering if maybe you could reach out to AS. We have a lobby for under us. I think they would be maybe the most likely to want to participate in this. I just think that could be helpful, just in case. Because if we just send this out mass, then what if people are encouraged to strike just because they can get paid, which I feel like might be a bit weird. I don't know.
Yeah, to clarify, this is like not just for striking workers, it's for anyone who has an opinion on the strike. So any current undergraduate or graduate student, regardless of strike participation. So the reason I don't want to like send it out to a particular group individually is because surveying bias, if you send it out to one group who you think like is likely to respond, you give that group an unequal opportunity to participate in the survey. So we want everyone to have an equal opportunity.
Yeah, that's our time for questions. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Anyone else here for public forum?
Chair, can we briefly move back into excuse absence?
Do you have any consent to move back to section A2, excuse absences? Interjection like consent?
Well, I motion to excuse Senator Shurkin for the remainder of the meeting due to health reasons.
There's been a motion to excuse Senator Strickland for the remainder of the meeting due to health reasons. Is there a second, Chaudhry?
Yeah.
There's been a second, no discussion. Pam, question has been called. Judge, call the question.
That's it.
Objections to that? Seeing none, motion passes.
Yep.
Okay, do we have unanimous consent to move into section, I3 unit reports?
Consent.
Consent. Okay, is there anyone here for unit reports? Any entities? Okay, President's Cabinet reports. Executive Director's report. Sean, pursuant to Senate Standing Rules, Section F, Clause 5, officers of the association providing reports must take questions and answers relevant to the matters project presented, knowing that you still wish to give her.
I do.
Amazing, you have 10 minutes.
I won't take that time. Budget process was one thing I wanted to, Vincent sent out emails, so anyone who controls or is responsible for a budget, whether that's your office or part of a BCU that you're a part of, those have gone out. I think I've got like 8 of them. So check your inbox and your shared documents because there's a lot to keep track of and start building up what you want to present to the finance committee. I think maybe I went over it last week, but I can't remember. Does everyone know how the budget process works, kind of generally speaking? No. Okay, so the very general version is this. So sorry, I maybe lied about the 10-minute thing. So the budget process is like this. Everyone submits their budget to the finance committee. They go and they present at a hearing, which will be in a few weeks. And to like a little slideshow, this is what we're going to spend. This is what we have spent. And to justify like, well, have we not spent? Have we already overspent? Like what we got budgeted, so we deserve more for this year, right? All of that. So you forecast into the future what you're going to get. Finance committee, they hear all that over the course of a week. They make up their notes to figure out, well, okay, this group, this is usually for non-lock-ins, right? So this group gets this group gets that. They figure out the budget based on what we have and then fill it out. That budget then goes to the president's office. The president can then formulate their own budget or not, and then submit that. That's the second draft. And then that goes to the Senate. And then the Senate takes that and goes, okay, this is 2 versions of a budget draft. Let's go into a session and talk about it for until we were there till 2 a.m. last time, 1 a.m. I forget. A long time. We're at the Parnell Center because they wouldn't let us be here till 2 in the morning. So and then there's that. And then when you actually confirm it, there's another like discussion that happens. So it's kind of like 4, 5 steps that happens in that process. So it's lengthy, and I'm sorry for future versions of you because it's going to be a lot of late nights for that. So that's the budget process, just we're at the beginning of it. So look for those emails from Vincent if you're part of any budgets. We have new staff starting tomorrow at the ticket office. It's an employee who worked here and then came back. And so she's going to, this is replacing Edwin, who went to a different opportunity at UCLA. And so now she's coming back and she starts tomorrow, which is just in time for the Cal Poly basketball game, which she will work on that one. And then space, there's some happenings about space, about the main admin, KCSB, things like that. But I can talk more at length about those as they get like further into development. I just wanted to, put that on people's radar. I think that's good for now. Good overview.
Thanks, Sean. Question? Lee?
Hi, Fawn, thanks for coming, like you usually do. Quick question about the budget process. So the finance committee has a budget and then the president makes their own budget based off of that one, and the Senate gets presented with both budgets?
No, so
Okay, just the president.
with the president, if the president chooses to have one.
Mhm.
I think last year, I believe she did not, and so it just became, like, her budget became what the finance committee recommended.
Got it, thank you.
It's like a duplication.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean, for coming. Yeah, as per usual. So just two questions regarding space. I know we talked about this before, and I know there's really nothing much that AS can do, but just any updates regarding any of the code, cultural center, which I know, again, there's nothing we can do. And then the second question, regarding the internal, for reference for the Senate, the internal job descriptions that we requested last quarter, were given, but I just noticed that they say for internal use, and I wasn't sure if they were allowed to be proliferated to the Senate. So I was just wondering if that could be shared amongst the Senate, or was that just for my eyes only? And if so, I thought these were supposed to be public, so I'm just asking just for clarification.
Right, so it's a semi-public kind of thing, so that's why internal too. If the internal other senators wish to view those, then that's fine. And the first question was, the center, Chris, who serves on the committee that's helping with that, I've been asking him to push hard on the USEN and the other involved parties, because we've been just kind of left in the dark for the past like 4 months. Like, no one has said anything regarding the center on the third floor. And it's on his radar, and he's gonna bug basically someone every week until we get an answer to what's happening, because last we heard they were waiting on us to pay for an elevator. And then they stopped, and I think they were trying to hire some additional contractor or someone to come look at it. And we've just not heard anything since. And so we're pestering them. This is kind of like the annoying part of the job sometimes, is like we have to keep poking people to get updates on things. And this is one of those cases. It's one of those extreme cases too, because the changes we wanted to make to the third floor weren't that extensive. It was like a wall, widening of a door, a couple of things here and there, but they deemed it a large project, even though that didn't seem like a large project. But we don't get to make that determination, sadly.
Thank you.
Nothing else? Okay, thank you, Sean. Okay, executive officers reports, beginning with President Metzger. Ian, you heard the speaking agreement? Cool, you have 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone. A few quick updates before I get into the bulk of what I am here for is that last week we had Protect Your Peers Week with the OSA office and the EVPSA office, and it was really great. We had really great turnout, over 200 people at our community response training, and then between like 30 to 50 the rest of the week. So it was really a really good turnout, a lot of engagement. Yeah, so that was exciting, and we'll probably be doing one last rapid response training in the spring. That was my main update, and now I'm gonna move on to, so I'm here to make a funding request for my office, and I have a presentation that kind of walks through everything. I don't know, is it best to share the screen or?
Holly, is it possible that the slides are on the agenda doc? If it's possible to get on copy, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Just give me like a minute and I'll get that pulled up for you, Leanne.
Thank you. Yeah, it is on the agenda, so I can go ahead and get started. I'm here to make a funding request for my office. So kind of a overview of my office's budget for this fiscal year. That was decided during budget hearings last year. So we get $3,000 for operating, $14,000 for honoraria and $10,000 for special projects. And I will also preface that none of this presentation includes the 10,000 that was allocated last quarter for the super kukas, because that was allocated from Senate and then spent right away. So this is just what we were allocated at the end of last year. So as you can see, this is a very small amount for special projects, which is why I've come to the Senate in the past for like those projects like the food security initiatives. But I've always been a very project and event focused leader. In the past, I've led a I lead a very productive office and I have high expectations for my staff. Last year, I led a smaller team with a much bigger budget, around 80,000. So this budget is a lot smaller than I'm used to for the work that we're putting out. So I'm gonna walk through each section, my current expenditures from this year so far, the projected expenditures for the rest of the year, and present you with a budget request for my office for the remainder of the year. Holly, can you go to the third slide? So yeah, again, so as for operating, just another overview of the budget. Operating, we have 3,000 allocated and we've spent around 1,000. For honoraria, there's only 14,000 in that section, but we've already spent 250. I'll go over why that is. And then special projects, we have 10,000. And so far this year, we've already spent 10,500 with all of our events and projects and initiatives. So the budget total is 27,000 and we've already spent almost 23,000. So kind of going next, just to break down operating, we've spent around $1,000 on printing, advertising, office retreats, and tabling materials. And the rest of the budget will be spent this year on office retreats, printing, advertising, other things that'll come up. So we are not, and I anticipate the rest of the remaining $2,000 to be plenty for this account, for this section. So I'm not requesting any more for that. Next is honoraria. So the breakdown of the honoraria earners in my office, we've got head of staff and a deputy head of staff who each earn $450 a quarter. And then I have 19 staffers who earn $300 a quarter. So the office is bigger than previous years because if you remember that there was a bill that was passed over the summer to add special projects coordinators to my office to do more events and projects. And these have been really helped us this year to increase output for environmental projects, collaborations on campus, and long-term projects such as the meal plan initiative. And then academic affairs and facilities coordinators were also added to my office in that same bill. They previously were kind of floaters. I don't know where their honoraria came from before, but they are now housed in my office. They were previously just in my cabinet. So there are 5 additional positions in my office this year. Also, we've got our Pearman Fellow, which is an additional $250 for the total for the entire year. This was included in the Pearman Fellowship bill, where they now earn honoraria and it comes from the budget of their housing organization. So budgeting for that. And then I've also got the Student of the Quarter Award, where we are going to award the Student of the Quarter winner with an additional $300 of honoraria from our office. So that is, the decision comes from the Office of the President team. So that's an additional $300 per quarter. So to kind of sum all that up, that's 20 people at $300 a quarter plus the heads of staff and Pearman Fellows. So if you go to the next slide, these are kind of breakdowns of what that would cost per quarter. So we had summer honoraria. Some of my staffers worked a lot over the summer, got full honoraria. Others did us we're got half on there now, as it goes. So yeah, these are the totals. Essentially, the total amount that I'm projected to spend for honoraria this year is 25,300. And that we're budgeted for 14,000. So I am requesting an additional 11,300 in the honoraria category. Next, we're gonna go into special projects. So I've spent around 10,500 up until like this point, like week 3, winter quarter. This includes, I just have a screenshot of my quarter report from last year from the State of the Association, specifically the events we did. So you can read those, which cost money. And then also what's not included is that is about $1,000 for coffee with the president for this quarter, which has already been spent, including that 10,500. And then also around $4,000 allocated towards Protect Your Peers Week from last week for my office. So that's also included in that $10,000 which has been spent. So this is kind of a breakdown of what we've already spent this year, which has added up to 10,500. And if you go to the next slide, I have my office's projected spending, which follows like a similar, ramps up programming for the rest of the year. And I won't read all of these, and these are not like firm amounts because I don't know like exactly what my office is planning to do and how much exactly things will cost. But these are some of the things that I know are on the radar and are coming up. One big one I'd like to highlight, which is part of the reason why this number is so high, is Earth Month. This is a project that my office has been working on for the whole year and is going to be collaborating with a bunch of different environmental orgs to do an entire month long of environment related events and initiatives. So if you're interested in learning more about that and why they're budgeting $10,000 for that, there's like a link on it. But it's gonna be an entire month long of events, and it should be really big. They're collaborating with a lot of different orgs. Yeah, lots of things going on. Other like big ticket items to point out is we have our annual mental health town hall this quarter. And then also just repeat of things like coffee with the president, farmers market, self-care goodie bags. Okay. On the next.
Do I send yours on back?
Yes.
Well,
5 minutes.
Motion to extend President Liam Metzger's time by 5 minutes.
There's been a motion to extend President Liam Metzger's time by 5 minutes. Is there a second? Oh, no. There's been a second for no discussion. Just going in.
Question.
Questions, call the question. Object like that, seeing none.
Thank you. Okay, so why am I requesting this money? I believe that the Office of the President should be a project forward outreach and event forward group to impact campus. You know, we need money to do things. And I also think that my office should have a budget corresponding to our high productivity as demonstrated thus far. So we've put out a lot so far in the year, spent about 10 to 11,000. And we're going to spend, based on the plans for this year, planning to spend more than that per quarter, ideally, based on the plans that we have. And then I also think that my office, the Office of the President, should have authority over how it spends its money on a day-to-day basis, and not kind of have to depend on Senate or finance approval for every event and project. So for things like if someone in my office wants to do a mental health event, I think they should be able to, the office should be able to decide like how they want to budget that from our budget and not have to go and get permission for every event. So in sum, on the next slide, I'm requesting 11,300 for honoraria, 32,000 for special projects, for a total of 43,300 for the remainder of this year. Thank you, and I can answer questions.
Thank you, Madam President. And first off, I want to work on the Protect Your Peers Week. It was really inspirational to observe. Senators, any questions? John?
Yeah, Hooker on that, it was a brilliant event, even though I missed the majority of it, but it was still a pretty good event. I think my only question will be, I was looking through the list of events that you kind of listed for the upcoming quarters. There's a few of them that I believe, at least to my knowledge, that a few BCUs or other entities in AS have already been like allocating a bunch of money for. Is it possible that it's like, you know, in collaboration in terms of like, you can also get like budget for there, because we all know like BCU also have their own budget. Is it possible that that could be a route for those kind of events?
Are there like specific ones?
Oh, yeah, like for example, like Earth Month, I think that's a big thing for EAB. Mental health events will be like big thing for COSWEB. Like Ivy Farmers Market we had a resolution on that, and there has been IBTU behind it. Yeah, that's something that I noticed for just glimpse, but yeah.
Yeah, a few things on that. My Commissioner of Environmental Sustainability has been working with EAB, and I think that's already part of their plan. But EAB kind of has its like Earth Day celebration that it puts all its time and effort to. And I'm not like 100% sure, but it doesn't seem like they like are able to allocate more to expanding that, because they have it planned just to do Earth Day. As for mental health events, COSWEB has a much tighter budget this year than they usually do, and they've actually come to me requesting for money, which I've had to then like turn them away because I haven't had anything. And Ivy Farmers Market, I know that there were talks. I know we've had a hard time kind of moving forward with some of the funding, so that's also something to figure out. But it's kind of just been moments of like, oh, we need money for this Ivy Farmers Market. Do we have anything from our office to spend, like, so that we can like know that if it's approved immediately or not. But that's another conversation, and if that's something like you want to take out and kind of figure out the farmers market on its own, we can also do that.
Yeah, just to give additional context, so far, like Jacinda and I have been in communications with some particular BCUs in regards to allocating funds, just more on a systematic manner to make it sustainable towards the Ivy Farmers Market, which is good. But yeah, I was gonna ask a pretty similar question actually, just like, we've already been in communication about this before, which I think is great, about all holistically other projects you're doing. I think it's super awesome. I just wanted to hear more on an extensive matter, maybe some of these particular ones, like you already kind of mentioned a bit right now, but maybe if you could extend further into detail for some other projects. It's like, have you been collaborating when it comes to particular funding on projects with other BCUs and stuff when it comes to, just to hear a little bit more about that, like the same too.
That's the additional 5 minutes. Okay, so there's reasonably 10 minutes for questions, but let's not do that. Milo?
Yeah, we definitely do like want to collaborate, but the thing is, most people reach out to us asking for money in order to collaborate. And it's kind of hard when we have like a tight budget and can't really contribute. I think a lot of groups like want to collaborate when there's kind of on money, so it's kind of hard when you're also tight on money. But the plan is to continue collaborating on a lot of these. Like, we're going to do a Lunar New Year collaboration with EOP, but the reason why is because they have limited funding for food and things like that.
Okay.
I asked 2 questions back to back. Eileen and Madam President, thank you for coming in. Which account would you want to see this money allocated to your office from?
My intention was Senate unallocated, but wherever you see fit also.
Okay, and then my second question is unrelated to your funding request. Is to inform me and maybe some others, under appointments on the agenda today is yourself, the IVP and SAG for the faculty legislature. Could you speak to who appoints those and what the role is? Cause I'm unaware.
Yeah, so in legal code, forget exactly where, but so I think it's under academic senate. It states that there will be the president, 2 vice presidents, and a member of the legislative council, aka the senator, a senator, as undergraduate representatives or like as representatives on the faculty legislature. So these are non-voting positions, but we're invited to like come to the meetings and listen and ask questions and participate.
And what does the faculty legislature do?
Yeah, so it's part of the academic senate. So the academic senate is basically government of faculty. And they do a lot of like the decisions on campus. So the faculty legislature is the only group in the academic senate that can write legislation and like change the bylaws of the academic senate. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's just a lot of professors and deans on this committee. And they, for example, they recently voted to approve like a new major for the College of Engineering or like a new minor for this, for like letters and science or something like that. So they make decisions like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you for coming, President. I just have a couple of questions or documents, if you were able to procure them, regarding each of your special project coordinators, how many projects they did, what the turnout looked for them, or like, yeah, the list of events during the, I would assume just fall quarter, even though they were working over the summer. And then, yeah, just prior to this and what those budgets look like. I'm sure they're in the minutes. If you want to send the minutes, either way, I can look through them, but just what each coordinator did, or if they're working together, if we could get those documents as well.
I don't know, like, what do you mean by, like, my office minutes?
More exactly about what the event, like what events were people planning throughout the fall quarter? Was there documentation of the turnout of those events, or was attendance recorded for those events? How much money each event was like allocated, just kind of a certain list, and then if there was a specific coordinator that planned that project or was the main person who did that event, just like their name or in terms of that event. Yeah.
Okay, so the special projects coordinators, they're not the only people in the office who are doing special projects. They're just kind of, when I was looking at my goals for my presidential term, I noticed that not all of them fell within a specific, like, oh, Commissioner of Environment or Commissioner of Mental Health or Art. And so I wanted to add some special projects coordinators who could kind of be flexible based on people's strengths. And also I had a lot of kind of environment related goals so some of them have been working together with the Commissioner on Environmental Sustainability to do Earth Month, to do the Eternal Flame projects, and to do the Ivy Farmers Market. So 2 of my special projects coordinators have been working with the Commission on Environmental Sustainability for those 3 projects all year, which are like bigger, longer term projects. And they've been doing a lot of work on the Ivy Farmers Market. They've been the leaders on that. And then my 3rd special project coordinator has facilitated relations with athletics, with Red Bull, has been a proxy for me on a lot of committees, and has also been working actually with Eddie on some of his like long-term projects so that they can do the freshmen, so they can continue for the next 4 years as well.
Well, I appreciate like the breakdown of that, and in collaboration with other of your office, I understand, so maybe not specific people, but in terms of like actual documentation, like papers of like, as in like the breakdown of the budgets of each of these events or like the turnout of these specific events, would those be able to be procured?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Ask 2 questions. Thank you, Leanne, for coming. Really appreciate it. Thank you for all the work your office does as well. Obviously, this is a lot of money that you're asking for since it is 43,000 for the next 2 quarters and the original budget is 27,000 for the entire quarter, which I know isn't sufficient. But my 2 questions are, 1, when would you like funding passed by? I'm assuming this meeting, but if not, when is like the latest you'd like this passed by? And then second, would there be a different total price, like a lower alternative total total amount that you'd be happy with?
Yeah, I think it is also, if you guys wanna like take a week to kind of look at this further, look at it more in depth, think about it more, like it can be passed next week as well. And then like, if you would like to kind of break things up a bit, we could also separate the Earth Month request and make it like a separate specifically for it. But I do know that they will be requesting the money like nonetheless. And then I think we discussed, we could take off some of the money for the Ivy Farmers Market. That's something.
Is that all? John?
Quick last question. I just checked, read through more detail of the thing. When you're referring to funding requests from other orgs, are they BCUs or RCOs?
It's kind of a mix. For example, Cosweb wanted to collaborate on their Winter Wellness Wonderland. They were going to different groups asking to sponsor like parts of the event. And they asked to, like, if we could sponsor the food for the event, and I had to say no. But just an example is like EOP and the Asian American Studies Department. We're collaborating with them on like a Lunar New Year event, which is also included, but kind of other groups that might come to me throughout the year asking for collaborations.
Yeah, that's a quick follow-up. Yeah, would you, this is totally just no intention intended, just like kind of ask for your opinion on this. Would you say it will be like, in terms of RCOs, I will definitely like encourage or recommend you to like direct them to like finance committee. But in terms of BCUs or campus department, would you say it's more efficient for them to actually just directly get funding from the Senate rather than like having this like transfer to president office and president office to their account? Because I feel like it's probably more efficient if we just fund them directly to their events.
Thing is, like if EOP like said, oh, we want funding, and they went to finance and got funding for this, and then I don't know, maybe like they would put sponsored by AS. That's one thing. But by this, I get to have a relationship with EOP and with the Asian American Studies Department and build that collaboration and work with them directly and have like Office of the President on their flyers and kind of work together to plan the event. So I think a lot of times groups don't just want like a check written for them. They want collaboration and support, which I think funding requests to like specific groups can do better than just like sending everything to the finance committee.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And time for the question. Thanks so much, Leanne.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on Senator Representative reports. None. Administrative reports. AG, did you hear the speaking agreement?
I heard it.
Agreeably?
I agree.
Okay. Feel free, you have 10 minutes.
Testing you to make sure you ask me if I agree or not. I heard it. I agree. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you all, blah, blah, blah. So a few things to note from today's meeting and the last. If you guys are going to choose to have a non-senator speak in discussion, you have the ability to ask the chair to receive unanimous consent for that to be made an exception. And I would recommend that you all also ask that the chair enforce the speaking agreement for that speaker. Just food for thought. I don't think that anything was violated. Those are your guys' standing rules. I'm just refreshing your recollection of what that means for you guys. So if that's of any help, keep that in mind for today and for future meetings. A bigger thing that is affecting my office, and I'm sure is affecting you all, is I can't give my office any projects to do because I don't have a working version of legal code. So do with that what you will. I don't know whether or not you guys are planning to move into closed session today. So please, I mean, if you are, make that available on your agenda as soon as you guys plan to do so. It's, you know, this is a public meeting. We're supposed to be transparent, or you guys are supposed to be transparent. And even for myself, you know, it'd be helpful to know whether or not I should bring what I'm about to say into a closed session or here. So what that follow-up means is I would ask you guys to consider making a motion to direct staff to give anyone, make a PDF available of a working copy of legal code within an X amount of business days, whatever you guys see fit. I can't look into email votes. I can't look into civil code. I can't do anything. I mean, we have a bill to clean up legal code, but there has been bills and resolutions that have passed since then. And I just simply cannot do my job. I can't do anything. It's really frustrating. I'm sure you guys are frustrated as well, but it's especially frustrating for me because I'm here to uphold legal code. Secondly, when that happens, I encourage you all to reread your duties and responsibilities. You know, things are changing very rapidly. You guys are passing a lot of legislation, and I think each quarter it would be wise to refresh your memory on your duties and responsibilities as elected senators and representatives. With that, kind of talk about, you know, more meeting procedure stuff. I tried to set this precedent last quarter. I don't think it really caught on, but now that I'm here in a different position, I'd like to present this or propose this to you all. You guys don't have to motion to excuse you. If somebody asks you to excuse their absence, you don't have to do that. And whenever somebody asks me, I let them know, hey, I need a reason. I'm not going to motion to excuse you unless you give me a reason that I can present to the body, present to the students. I know it seems arbitrary and it seems stupid, but in legal code, like academic conflict is outlined. It's not directly in response to absences, but it does fall along the lines of public meeting transparency. So if there's an academic conflict, if there's a health reason, as Senator Shurkin just was motioned to excuse for, I think that that would help you guys kind of, you know, buckle down on why we're having so many absences. And with the new bill to modernize honoraria that you guys passed, excused absences aren't outlined at all. So do with that what you will. I don't have an answer for you about what an excused absence is versus an unexcused absence. But that's just food for thought. You know, for future, you guys don't have to take that advice. That's just simply, you know, kind of a way for you guys to set precedent for the rest of this year or for the next year. And yeah, I'd like to remind you all that this is a public meeting. You guys are to be held to the standards that this is a transparent public meeting. And while I know that I am at no, I don't want to be mistaken for pointing this at anyone. This is just another refresher, and I know there were technical difficulties and complications today, but you are to advertise the meeting at least 24 hours in advance. And, you know, if you're saying you're going to start at 6:30, you know, I get that things happen. I understand, I truly do, but maybe even just put a note at the beginning of the meeting, you know, I'd like for this to be on the record that this is why we were delayed, or, you know, just make it as transparent as you can. Take the extra steps that you need to make it over the top. I know it's not your fault. I really do appreciate Chipotle. I enjoyed it. So, yeah, just food for thought. Try to play by the rules and, you know, just do your guys' job. You guys are doing great. Yeah, I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, AJ. I think those are all valuable checks. Very briefly, I know Holly has some something in terms of an update on legal code. But just so everyone is aware, a bill to update legal code included a change which tasked the director of accountability under the IEP's office. It's just the role that was thought the most fitting. I don't quite remember why. With following up on and making sure legislation is reflected on one unified doc, of course, beginning with the structure of the cleanup bill, since it was so extensive. Since it has proven difficult with staff having various other responsibilities on top of this, it seems like some student involvement is necessary, and I'm following up with both Senator Sussman and the Director of Accountability to make that happen this term, because you're completely right that it paralyzes some of our most key functions if we don't have access to that. So that's sort of basic update. Holly, I don't know if yours is related to that, but feel free.
Yeah, no, thank you, Henry. It is related to the update. I just wanted to let you all know that I can share with you all the bill trackers from the last 1 to 2 cycles. So I obviously am currently keeping track of the legislation that you all have passed this term, but I can share it with you from last term as well. So I have all of those up to date, and I'm working through the bill to clean up legal code and the live version. But you'll notice on the tracker all the other legislation that has been passed both this term and really the terms before that are up to date. So all of that is good to go. I'm just kind of slowly working my way through the bill to clean up legal code, and I expect I can have that live version to you all within a week or 2. Ideally, I would love a week, but I can send that out to the Senate and the entire association, letting them know that it is up to date, along with my version of the I call it a bill book, if you all want to see the version that I have. So I just wanted to let you know that the final copy should be coming within the next week or 2. And we hopefully this quarter, possibly into next, will be hiring a new position on the governmental affairs team. The position title is going to be called the Student Government Liaison. It was formerly called the Legislative Liaison, and fun fact, that was actually the position I had when I started in the association, which is how I continue to update the legal code. But that new position, when it's hired, they will be responsible for maintaining all of that. So I can send kind of a summary of what the new team structure is going to look like. Myself and Marissa and Sean and Lily have been working on providing some additional staffing in the governmental affairs unit, because it's pretty much only been me for a very long time. So if you all are curious about that as well, but long story short, updated legal code be available in 2 weeks.
If I may, is there, I know there's a live version of legal code. Is that what you're making live updates to? Should I turn to that in the meantime? You know, I don't really have anything for my office to do without this, without anything really.
Yeah, so I can send you the link to the live version of the legal code. Up until last year, so the request of this current year Senate leadership was to have a live version of it. In past years, which for many reasons, but we used to just have, I had a physical Word document, and then I would send out a PDF and print copies every cycle for everyone. And for the reasons that you've shared, students are wanting more up-to-date access to it, and I don't want to be providing individual excerpts for every single entity, or if there's cases or anything that have come up. So if you think that it would be helpful to you to review what's already there, but it'll continue to be updated. So I apologize that it has taken this long, but it'll be updated in the next couple weeks if you want to continue to check back on the live version. But I worked on that request to make it into a Google Doc, because to convert it to a Google Doc, I have to go through literally every single word. So it took a substantial amount of time, which is part of why I was hesitant. Just there's not a ton of staffing hours. And again, just one person, not an excuse, but just so you understand kind of the scope of it. So yeah, spent time over the summer converting it into a Google Doc. So that live version is up to date except for the bill to clean up legal code, which I know does have some substantial changes. And so maybe in the next week or two, you can kind of compare both what is in the live version that I'll send you in the link, and then you can probably compare that with the version that Senator Sussman has to for over the next couple weeks to compare what those updates will be.
Awesome.
I'm also happy to help or me like kind of figure things out too within the next couple weeks. But if I can get it done sooner, I will, I promise.
Thanks, Holly. I understand it's a big undertaking, so yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate everyone's patience. I really try to kind of toe the line with you all with like I don't want anybody to feel like they're bothering me. It's just I want you all to have like an understanding of kind of what the scope of the area of work is, but don't ever feel like you're bothering me. I don't mind being reminded. I don't mind hearing feedback or requests or anything. I actually really appreciate it and the opportunity to talk with you all. So thank you again for the floor. But yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions for you, Natalia, or for any senators.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Holly, just a quick question. So in the Bill to Clean Up Legal Code, the versions from the past senates were not up to date, which kind of led to some issues with appointments. So I kind of took the due diligence to update those sections for past codes, including like Poly Corps and GGC. So is the version of live legal code completely different from those updated versions in Bill to Clean Up Legal Code?
I don't suspect that it will be. Really what I'm going to do so that it's the most accurate for you all is similarly going to continue to go section through section. What I'll wind up doing, so like the most recent piece of legislation that was passed before that was the fall omnibus bill. So because I also update it chronologically, so I'll know just based on my records, so like PMHC, for example, recently added 2 positions to their board. If it's not reflected in the bill to clean up legal code, I'm not going to delete that because I know that version of the bill was passed most recently. So what I'll also do is if there's anyone that's interested in having a second set of eyes to make sure that it's accurate, what I'll also do is I can coordinate with the liaison committee to have our BCUs review their bylaws just to make sure that if there were any changes that need to be made or that were missed, that can be worked on. But I have done pretty substantial bill changes before, so I feel pretty comfortable working my way through it section by section, but I'm happy to have other sets of eyes. And I think if you've gone through and entered legislation from this term, I don't think it's going to be substantially different, but I can also confer with you and Natalia as the AG to give the final go ahead if there's anything I'm like really stuck on. Because I want it to reflect what you all intend as a legislative body. So if I have any major conflicts, I'll be sure to loop you all in.
Good, thank you, Holly.
Of course.
Or a little over time, so then maybe you could wrap up.
Just for clarification, the legal code live version does it also have the up-to-date, the bills from last year's Senate? Because I received some of the bills from last year's Senate regarding amendments to the Constitution that I looked both at the bill to clean up legal code and the live version, and they don't have any of these. At the same time, some of them might not have passed, but I know that one of them did. I believe it was the Article 9 one, and none of those changes are reflected on live version. So I'm a little confused. How far behind is this live version? Thank you.
So thank you for pointing that out. I did forget to mention that. So the legislation from last year minus the constitutional amendments is done. I'm still trying to track down the accurate version of the language because I know that there were some amendments that were made in the review from the elections board. So unfortunately, those are also, there were 3 of them total from last term. And I have the language, I think, from 1 or 2 of them. But in terms of just like if there was, a bill to update PMHC's legal code, outreach committee's legal code, like all of those are done. I just want to make sure that I have the correct language for the final one for the constitutional amendment. So yes, in addition to the bill to clean up legal code, I have like 2 constitutional amendments to be done. So that'll be done within the same timeline, within a week or 2. I can let you know when those are done as well.
Oh, I did have one more question. This is, I don't know if Sean can answer this or Holly can answer this. So system-wide or school-wide emails are down. I didn't quite catch that conversation. There's no remedy thus far. So just association-wide emails.
For now, yeah, they haven't come out with a new solution yet. We're having discussions Friday
Got it.
about what we can do.
Okay, thank you. That's all. If anyone has any other questions.
I think we're well out of time.
Go Gators.
Thanks for coming. Pardon. Okay, committee reports, anything for finance? Outreach?
Yes, I'll just keep it super brief, just to update everyone. And again, ask for you guys' collaboration. We're doing a housing study, a study of housing conditions in Isla Vista. We have to go through the tedious task of going to every building in Isla Vista that is residential and trying to determine the number of units in that building to create a statistically significant result to our study. And so we're literally going to do that via manual labor. So if anyone has, like, out of the goodness of their heart would want to help with that, please let me know. We're working on creating a study for how to improve AS through focus groups. We're going to try and have students who are interested in participating sit down for like a 30-minute to an hour-long conversation and do a deep dive into what they know about the association, what they'd want to see on campus, and see how we can help them as well as improve the association. We're working on a halftime event at one of the upcoming basketball games, and that should be sometime in the middle to late February, towards the end of the UCSB team's basketball season, which we'd love to have a Senate presence there, as well as like maybe liaison committee, use your connections with other BCUs to really promote the association there. And then just so everyone's aware, I have to motion a resignation of one of our members tonight, and I'll be doing that during appointments resignations. And that's all. Actually, sorry, and I would like to make a motion during action items to approve money from our account for a food truck event that we will be doing hopefully next week that we didn't get to last night in our meeting. So you just need to do that tonight.
First off, thank you. You can motion that in a committee meeting, that money sits with
The
your
event might be before our next meeting.
Okay. Is that all from outreach?
Yes, thank you.
Cool. Anything from liaison?
Oh, yeah, I'll just make a brief one because I'll just also leave the floor a little bit more open to Senator Dan a bit. But more just quick reminders. I know that we already kind of communicated a bit a couple of weeks ago on some of the pilot program we're testing about. Just as a reminder, if you already are assigned to a liaison, my committee members might be individually emailing you and stuff, but make sure to go in person in the next coming weeks or so and connect with your particular BCU liaisonships. And whenever you do, make sure to, if you have any, even if it's brief, just make any particular notes. If your BCUs have any questions or concerns, please forward it to me or any of my committee members, such as Senator Dan, to ensure that there's a good streamline of communication. Just continue to start meeting your BCUs in person. That's all I ask. And other than that, we have just other minute updates from my own individual point. I've been communicating with Holly or so, just kind of hopefully maybe Holly can elaborate further about it. Maybe just depending on the success of the BCU pilot program on liaisonship, we might have an allocating of a similar agenda towards staff liaisonship a little bit I'm working on. And I'm going to be planning to make a staff resource sheet pretty soon. That's going to be having it's a pretty commonality question about wondering how to access staff meetings or where their office hours are, or things like that. So Holly and I are working a little bit on that to create a pretty good staff resource sheet. So then all senators, if you're open to meeting some staff people, you want to know where their staff general meetings are, you can access it on the sheet. So again, I feel like just more proximity and accessibility is really resourceful. So I'm working on that and just working on the pilot programs. That's about it. So make sure you go to BCUs in person, and then we'll have that sheet hopefully done pretty soon if Holly wants to talk about it afterwards. But yeah, it's about all for me. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I have two really important things for Senate to listen on, and I would like space for at least roughly 30 minutes of these later in discussion, and also I intend to go into closed discussion. The main thing is I want everyone as a Senate, due to like Brown Act, to review the internal documents, the internal job descriptions. And I will send them out to everyone, and obviously because they're internal, we would have to require a closed discussion for that. Additionally, the main thing we talked about last closed session, I believe that it is after talking with the org that we talked about in closed session, I want that discussion item to be in public discussion because they brought up a few things. I checked with the commissioner. You guys got my email. I checked with the commissioner. They were impartial to this being in public discussion or closed discussion, and both me and Chair Wahidullah both let them know that we were intending to put this on public discussion to reflect what their interests were and their reasoning for stuff like that. And then, yeah, just a transparent thing. Also, the main thing is that because I'm talking on behalf of this person, if I misrepresent them in closed discussion, that would just be unfair. So it's just an important thing for transparency that I would like us to keep in mind for around 30 minutes. And it's really important. Thank you. That's it. Any questions?
Yeah. Senators, any questions? Okay. Advocacy Committee?
Yeah, just to be brief, we had the joint rent support program bill last week. We discharged it, but I'm gonna need to motion it on, so sorry about that. You have the language for when that happens. Otherwise, yeah, we're gonna meet this Friday, 12 to 2. Please pull up. We would love to have you all there. And beyond that, we're gonna work with outreach for mobile food pantry, so looking forward to that. Yeah, otherwise smooth sailing so far. Yes.
I have a quick question for the chair, that allowed? Okay. I just received an email this morning, between IBTO chair and the EOP director.
Mhm.
And it feels like they would like to have the bill tabled for at least a week. For them to get the details sorted out for the rent support program.
Okay, well, I wasn't informed of that, so yeah, we can,
Yeah.
if that's the case, then we can table that, yeah,
Yeah, I
thank
just
you.
wanna make sure there's a.
Or just don't motion it.
Or just
on.
don't motion it on, yeah.
Yeah, just send it after this meeting. Or I suppose communicate whatever. No, it's with us then and now, actually just send it over to us.
Yeah, I think.
Do you know of what nature the?
Maybe not.
Sure. Okay, anything else for advocacy? All right, any other group projects or other temporary committees? What up, please?
So just an update on the Senate Safety Committee. We're still looking for one self-appointed Senate member, and I'm also going to motion to Jenny Amanda so I can stop. It's okay, I haven't done it yet. So I can appoint Erica, but we still have one spot left if that interests you. And so far I've just been working on coordinating with COSWEB, EVPLA, and the Office of the President to try and get their members as well as students. So if you guys have any recommendation for just any students that you think are really passionate about this, then I'd love to know.
Sure.
Hello, my name is Ms. Holly Pasher. I'm a student at Sophie. I am the chair of the temporary to create Department of Legacy Gauchos. If you guys feel it necessary to dissolve the committee as it has not reported to the Senate and it has not gone anywhere, please feel free to do so. That's at your discretion. Thank you. I'll take questions.
I'm sorry, I thought you were commenting on the prior one, so I think
I thought you were recognizing.
Privacy's sake. I had no idea, I completely forgot to go.
Sorry.
So it's like fully fine, but just really briefly, is there anything on the first one? And is everyone clear on what that's about, this for the student safety temporary committee? None on that?
Apologies.
No, yeah, it's really fine. Yeah, hopefully we can get another senator on that one. And now we go on to other temporary committee. Lucan?
It was formed in a resolution, so it'll dissolve at the end of our term anyways, right?
Sure, but if you guys, I mean, I could potentially get people, yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Cool. Good talk. Okay. We begin with new business. First, a resolution supporting the integration of Gaucho bucks into meal plans. Seeing that someone is not here, Proxy Bros, if you want to start. At this point, you essentially explain what the piece of legislation is.
Awesome. Am I ready to talk?
Yes.
Great. Thank you, IVP and senators. Senator Malhees reintroduced this bill after his discharge from the Advocacy Committee, where it received substantive review and several clarifying amendments. I want to start by thanking Advocacy Committee for their time and feedback. The changes have strengthened the bill and have made it clearer and more precise and more administratively sound. Unfortunately, Senator Malhees and IVTU Chair Michaela Wilson have received notification today from EOP that the program is going to shift from being housed under Financial Crisis Response Team within the UCSB Office of Financial Aid.
Eddie, I'm really sorry. This is on the Gaucho Bucks resolution. Are
I'm
we?
thinking about the wrong one. Bill to establish, wrong one.
Yeah.
All right, for sure.
Yeah, that one's not on the agenda. You can, we basically,
Okay.
although that would be kind of useful, but we can talk about that in discussion items really very. Yeah, if you want to, this is basically the.
Sorry, I was given two things to talk about.
Yes.
Thanks for cutting me off. Just kidding. Thank you, IVP, and thank you, senators. Senator Malhees is bringing forward this resolution to formally express AS's support for integrating Gaucho bucks into existing meal plans to extend student access to retail dining options. At its core, this is about flexibility and accessibility. Right now, UCSB's meal plan structure largely confines students to residential dining halls, which doesn't work equally well for students with dietary restrictions, non-traditional schedules, late night needs, or off-campus living situations. Many peer UC campuses, in fact, every other one, have already implemented models that allow meal plans to be used at retail locations without increasing overall student costs. And students here clearly are asking for similar options. Through our survey, we've seen a majority of respondents, 402 out of 403, respond with student support with this reform. This isn't a hypothetical idea. It's grounded directly in student feedback. Students want more choice in where and how to use their meal plans, especially when it comes to retail food access at locations such as the Arbor or within the UCEN. Importantly, this resolution does not mandate a specific implementation. It supports exploring cost-neutral, feasible pilot programs in collaboration with campus partners. What this resolution does is give us something official, an official AS position. Having this endorsed by Senate allows us to engage more effectively and legitimately with housing, dining, and auxiliary enterprises. It streamlines conversations with HGAE by showing this is not just an individual proposal, but a student-backed priority endorsed by this body. Passing this resolution strengthens student advocacy, aligns AS with demonstrated student demands, and puts us in a better position to work constructively with administration towards realistic solutions. Senator Malhees urges the Senate to support this resolution.
Thank you, Proxy. Second on this. Wang is not present. Okay, Senator Lee, do you wanna?
Yeah, I just want to commend Senator Malhees. I know she's not here for all the work she's been doing. She's reached out to the RHA. She's had people go to not every single RHA meeting, but an RH meeting for every single dorm to get their feedback to share this survey. She's also reached out to a lot of university administration. So she's been coordinating this with a group of student leaders, as long as scheduling meetings with a lot of admin and just a lot of stakeholders in this. And so she's been putting a lot of work into it. And if you check the survey, which I believe everyone has access to, which is at the bottom of the second page, we do have a lot of positive feedback for both late night and for allowing meal swipes for retail locations. And most of it is positive. I think if I checked, it was like 393 yeses, 9 no's. So there's overwhelming support for this resolution, and I also would urge the Senate to pass this resolution. That's it.
Thank you. We're now in discussion. Wait,
Yeah, similar to what Senator Lee mentioned about, I do commend about the extensive work holistically the entirety of this team has been working on this initiation. I can recall just even from nostalgic conversations along just with you and everything, Eddie, from just how much of the systemic work you guys have been communicating when it comes to integrating the system of Gaucho Bucks into the university, and I think it's great. And I more have a question of curiosity because I remember myself in the past trying to work on similar statistical surveys and try to communicate to alongside administration to integrate these in a realistic manner to policies to actually negotiate with administration to integrate Gaucho Bucks. And I recognize you guys have made now statistical surveys about this, and I assume because this is more of a resolution, you know, in support of this in future upcoming particular pilot programs. But if you could maybe extend on out of a curiosity manner about the next steps going into this, maybe if you have any examples yet of particular pilot programs or maybe upcoming future steps that regards towards administration to ensure that Gaucho Bucks is a realistic project that becomes successful in UCSB, or just some more entailing if you have any like information about that. If not, it's fine. I'm just more curious. So but yeah, I just think the project is great too. So thank you.
Yeah, well, most recently, there was some changes to the meal plan that were student initiated, and that led to a quarter-long pilot program, and then now we're in the first full year of implementation. Notably, those were swipe-ins, rollovers, and donations, which today we spoke with Jill Horst, who's the director of dining, and there are some other people involved in the meeting as well. And they were saying that this program for them that they just implemented has been cost neutral, which to me has said that these lack of meal plan changes to benefit the student body are more out of them not wanting to, out of lack of initiation, I'll call it. Which is why we are urging AS and also the Residence Hall Association to support this. Not only we want to show that this is now not just me asking Jill for this, but really the student body. And we were running into discussions of why this hasn't happened yet. First of which was lack of student support, which I think we've squashed and we're working on squashing, showing that there's realistically outstanding student support on this, which is through surveys, and then also getting all the residence halls and the Residence Hall Association on top of associated students to be in support of this. But then secondly, there are some financial back-end issues, which may be a problem that might halt the progression of this, notably the way Gaucho Bucks currently works in the system, which is why we're trying to work with the Chancellor's Office. After getting student support, there has to be moved with the Chancellor's Office and kind of the executive level, figuring out the changes in financial systems to implement the proposal.
Okay.
I move to refer a resolution supporting the integration of Gaucho Bucks into meal plans to the advocacy committee.
There's been a motion to refer resolution supporting the integration of Gaucho Bucks into meal plans to advocacy committee. Is there a second, Chaudhry?
Second.
There's been a second, we're now discussion.
Call the question.
I have. Do you rescind your call the question?
I rescind my motion.
Just about this real quick. Is there a particular reason why this would need to go through committee and not just be whether you being immediately discharged? Considering it's just a positional support?
Yeah.
So would we be open to just discharging it immediately?
Junks was first.
Are we in the middle of a discussion right now?
Yes.
Oh. So basically it's referred and then we can just discharge it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying we should do.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I will do the motion.
Yes, please.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Is there any objection to call the question?
Consent.
Next, like consent. Seeing none, motion passes. Lucan.
I move to discharge a resolution supporting the integration of Gaucho Bucks into meal plans from the advocacy committee.
There's been a motion to discharge a resolution supporting the integration of Gaucho Bucks into meal plans from the advocacy committee. Is there a second? Oh, sorry. There's been a second. Discussion, Chaudhry.
Call the question.
Motion called, call the question. Any objection to consent? Seeing none, motion passes. It's on the floor. Lucan.
I move to adopt a resolution supporting the integration of Gaucho Bucks into meal plans.
There's been a motion to adopt the resolution supporting the integration of Gaucho Bucks into the meal plans. Is there a second? Chaudhry.
Second.
There's been a second. We're now in discussion. Wiggle.
Call the question.
Motion has been called, so we now move into a vote. The spreadsheet is at the top of the agenda. It says set a voting tracker under the title. And there's a brand new one for this meeting, so we're keeping archives of them. Let's obviously on motion one, just get your votes in the next 20 seconds.
With information, are we voting on tab motion one?
Yes. Let's please stick to that. Yeah. Holly, are there centers online?
Yes, there's one senator and one proxy.
Confirming that you guys are.
Yes, I'm sorry, it's me. I'm trying to look for the tracker.
Yeah, it says.
My email is having some problems, so, and I got a new phone, so I can't really access my account.
How does she vote? We can do it for her.
I also just put the link in the chat if you can
Okay,
access.
okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, Kendall, you're representing Hepburn, is that correct?
No, Lopez.
Oh. So, who's representing Hepburn? Who you voting by? Oh, but Manicova's vote is still missing. Are you able to?
Oh, I thought I entered it. Did I do that incorrect?
You did on the.
It should say abstinence.
Abstention. Sorry?
I don't know if
Option
Senator
one.
Burns proxy has access to the sheet or the.
It was on the,
Oh.
on the 10th tab.
I didn't realize there were more substitutes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still not able to vote on the thing because I'm on the meeting on my phone.
So what's the problem?
Like I'm trying to vote on the tracker, but it's not letting me like do anything.
Okay, would you be okay with my entering your vote on the tracker? If it's.
Yes, I'll put my vote in the chat and then, yeah. I'll put yes or no or abstention in the chat.
Would you mind just saying it because I can't see the chat?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yes, I'm voting yes.
Your vote's yes?
Yeah.
I'm sure, I believe the proxy, the clerk of the Lopez has their hand raised and stuff.
Proxy, do you have some?
Like,
Works.
I think.
I can. Wait, let me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so my question is, motion one is the correct one?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. We were better off with hand votes. Okay, that's all votes in, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so we're at 14. Yes.
I would like to mention, when I opened the tracker, it immediately opened to motion 10. And I see that there are multiple votes currently on motion 10, and I just want to make sure
Smile, you
that they're
can,
reflected in motion 10.
I appreciate that. I got it. Okay, so we're at 14-0-5. Motion passes. Can you reflect that, please? Okay, resolution passes for us. Okay, anything else for new business? Lucan?
I have a point of order. Last week we tabled resolution for staying policy 44. So I think it should be in old business or action items.
I've got the motion.
Harder.
Yeah, I motion to add a resolution condemning anti-Semitism to. Excuse me. Action items.
Can you? We're in new business currently.
Then
Which is
then
fine.
new business, yeah.
Have you sent me the updated? The one titled? I guess it's fine. Okay, I'll add it onto the agenda. Please let me know whether it's the one you're looking to.
Correct.
You don't have a second?
No.
Former AG used to say that that's fine.
What was the question?
There's no second on this resolution.
That's your discretion if you would like to take that as chair. Personally, there's nothing in legal code that says. that you
I don't think there is. I suppose if there's a second supports its addition onto the agenda, that should be fine. Okay, so there's been a motion to add a resolution condemning anti-Semitism rather to new business. Is there a second? Leila?
Second.
Is there a second? We're now in discussion. Okay, question has been called. Any additional question?
Second.
If you like consent, seeing that motion passes, it's on the agenda. Samaya, if you could put it standalone, that'd be fine. With the author, want to speak on it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I feel like everyone has probably heard about the incident that occurred at the frat house a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of nights ago. The chancellor issued a statement about it as well. You know, it's very simple in my opinion that everyone at this campus deserves to feel safe and deserves to study in a safe environment, regardless of your race, ethnicity. It doesn't matter. If this were to happen to anyone else on our campus, and I would be writing this resolution. It doesn't matter who it is. And the reason why I think it's important that the Senate does take a position on this is illustrated very well in the following quote. So this is by Eli Wiesel, Holocaust survivor. It goes like this: neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. So as a body that represents the students on this campus, we have to understand that neutrality can be interpreted in an extremely negative way and in a way that empowers the oppressor. And again, this is our role this is our role as a body. And so I just think it's extremely important for us to recognize the injustice that occurred. And if this were to happen to anyone, again, this resolution would be in order for anyone on this campus. So I just urge a vote to pass this resolution because again, neutrality is empowering the oppressor. That's not something that we want to do as a body. I hope everyone understands the intent of the resolution, and I hope that this goes off without a hitch because that's what everyone deserves, to put it simply.
Do you want to do the whole unanimous consent to bring this to?
Go for it.
We have unanimous consent to allow Natalia Pasher into the discussion?
Consent.
Consent?
I don't explicitly remember sponsoring this resolution, so I'm not sure why I'm on here. So that might be something for you all to consider voting on this. I may have. I don't remember. I didn't explicitly say that I was sponsoring this, so that might be a misrepresentation of myself and my position.
Chair, can I?
Yes.
Yeah, I very respectfully, like 45 minutes, like an hour ago, we talked about it really quickly and I thought I had gotten approval. If not, then fine, let's just take your name off, basically.
Sure.
It sounds to me like miscommunication, honestly, but full transparency, I was under the impression that I had gotten authorization. So if that's an issue, then please do amend it. It's just I think it's important that we pass this. That's all I'm saying. And also apologies for any miscommunication.
No, yeah, definitely miscommunication, but yeah.
There are, just as a word of guidance, there are some issues with the format here as well, which you have the choice of whether to make on the floor or just table somewhere. And, you know, that I've seen it done in committee, actually very almost effortlessly motion to adopt to the format, and boom, you have the authority to do it. Lucan?
If no one else has any discussion, I would like to make a motion.
No.
Just regarding a point of information on the bill, so I wanted to ask, this bill, and it's a great thing that we're pursuing justice. I just want to understand how this would be different to the avenues that the school already has with dealing with hate, and why how this provides an alternative solution.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think, you know, obviously we pride ourselves on our distinction from the administration. That's been a crucial theme since the conception of the Associated Students, that we are separate. And other entities within the school have issued something, but this entity has said nothing. This entity hasn't. We're a different entity. And we pride ourselves on being a different entity. And because we're a different entity that has its own reputation and is looked for and has its own column in the Daily Nexus and has its own column in other sort forms of media, I think it's important that we honor our existence as an entity. We honor our autonomy that we've honored for every other facet of operation. And we issue our own statement as well.
Senator, I think you mean has a regular presence on the Nexus. I don't think we like write a column as an association or something like that, just to preempt the
Sure, yeah.
correction on some article.
Sure.
Chuck?
Of information, I just have a question. I might just be very like delayed on a news situation, but I sincerely don't know what happened, so can I get a background?
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
Sure. Harder.
Yeah, so there was an instance of basically breaking and entering on one of the fraternities, the Jewish fraternity specifically, in Isla Vista, right? And there was a swastika drawn with shaving cream on the mirror of the fraternity, right? So it's clearly a hate symbol. It's clearly designed to intimidate them, and it was done after breaking and entering. It's illegal, and it's a crime, and it's meant to intimidate the students on our campus. And we shouldn't allow that, no matter who the student is.
Maurice?
Sorry, just a clarification, the incident is still under investigation, so I just want it for the record, breaking and entering, we're not 100% sure of. They were inside of the private residence. I don't know, just in case, and then also, API is not affiliated with IFC. And lastly, the Anti-Defamation League released a statement that this is the 4th incident that has occurred at this residence this past, this like school year.
API being the institution in question.
Yes.
The organization which lives at this house, and IFC being the interfraternity council which governs. Fraternities on this campus, that's the name of the case. Okay,
You said that you had a point about proxies speaking, correct? I just wanted to make sure it was okay.
No.
No? Okay.
You're talking about students being involved in this discussion.
Yes, you're in the senator's capacity right now, so you're.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you, just wanted to make sure. I'm against discrimination of any kind, I just want to put that forward. I'm including anti-Semitism. I just wanted to ask, what is AS anticipating in terms of former UCSB student president? I believe her name is Tessa Bexler, suing based on anti-Semitic claims. How do you anticipate making a statement might affect that?
Okay. I fully appreciate that. I feel like, I don't know what how immediately applicable any of this is, but I feel the urge to ask both the Attorney General and potentially interim executive director to what extent this conversation should be had when things like multitudes are spoken of in the public sphere.
it's free speech, but also consider that speaking on a pending lawsuit might have implications. I don't know. I would say that that's free speech, right?
I won't speak that.
Scared.
Yeah, to be clear, it's not the association. Just, as far as I know. You do have free speech as American citizens. As a peer, I advise you to proceed cautiously. Did you have something to add on?
Oh, I know. I just wanted to state that is exactly why I stated my question, because I think any discussions being had now on this resolution could potentially affect that. So I just wanted to essentially raise that question.
Alright,
Yeah, again, like I think our position as a body is our position as a body and literally is independent. Is independent of the lawsuit that's occurring, right? So we can make a statement on this. We're not commenting on any active lawsuits at all. We're commenting on a completely separate thing that occurred in IB that affected our students. I don't see how this even relates to that lawsuit in any capacity at all, actually, at all. I don't see the relation. So I yield.
okay.
I move to refer a resolution condemning anti-Semitism to the outreach committee.
There's been a motion to refer a resolution condemning anti-Semitism to the outreach committee. Is there a second? Oh, no. There's been a second round of discussion. Wait,
Question.
question's been called. Is there any particular question? Consent. Is there any discussion? Is there any objection to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Lucan,
I have a question for the AG or chair or anyone who might know. This is, I think I've asked this before, and it's a pretty dumb procedural question, but can someone who motioned, seconded, or called the question to separately, can the motion and the second and or the person who called the question give consent to the call to question?
I'm not understanding your question. The person
If
that-
I make a motion
yeah,
and someone calls a question, can I give consent? And if I'm the only one who says consent and no one else says anything and there's no objections, is that proper?
If nobody else gives consent,
If no one else says consent, but consent is said.
I think in that case, in which no one else has said it, there might be a problem because that's the whole point of this process is to make sure it's not just no one is judge, jury, and executioner. But I don't see a problem with adding, as far as I'm aware, adding on their consent to others. So I wouldn't be like super worried about it, but if someone does catch it, actually do let me know. That's important. And that's part of why we should voice whether you give consent or not to something. So we don't just pass things without knowing exactly what's going on. So that's a really important point. It seems like the last thing in new business.
I think before you move on,
Asher?
it's more to give a space for somebody to object rather than to collect consent.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You're completely right. Do we have unanimous consent? We have Matthew Nelson, who's Director of Academic Affairs in my office. Who I believe is at a lab up to now. So do we have unanimous consent to move briefly into a short report on some exciting things happening on the academic front of the university? Yeah, do we have unanimous consent? Is there any objection to that consent? Okay, Matthew, feel free to come up. Have you heard the speaking agreement? Okay, pursuant to rules section F clause 5, always the association providing reports must take questions from senators relevant to the matters and projects presented. Knowing that, do you still wish to give a report? Okay, proceed. You have 10 minutes.
So, over the past few months, the IVP office has been trying to work.
If we can please, I hear a few things going on at once, please.
Work with the faculty executive committee to explore the potential of adding minors within the College of Engineering, particularly in just minors of the majors that already exist there, which are mechanical, electrical, chemical, engineering, and then computer science. And we recently heard back that of those departments, only computer science would be interested in exploring something like that. But yeah, the 1 of 5, but that's still a very exciting opportunity. I believe that there would be a fair amount of people on campus that would get great value out of that. It would definitely be worth something for associated students in the Senate to consider. And then another thing that has been, I've heard being talked about on campus is about the adoption of an AI major, which is another very exciting thing going on in the College of Engineering. Quite honestly, I'm not all that familiar with it and how far they are, what's going on there. But I thought that was something worth mentioning in this since it's related. Yeah, I would like, if possible, to talk to some of the collegiate senators. I don't know if it makes sense to talk with all of them or just ones in the College of Creative Studies and Engineering, or whoever believes they would have a relevant stake in this, to see if we could talk to the computer science department and try to move forward with this.
Cool. Thank you, Matthew. Milo?
First of all, that was a really great to hear these particular upcoming newses and just some of the things that are happening regarding towards your efforts. I'm very curious about in particular towards the AI major you mentioned about and stuff. Have you seen any similar commonality policies in other universities or other institutionalized systems that have been working to have this idea of an AI major so far? I just think out of curiosity, I think it's really interesting to hear about that. Like, if this is a first kind of pilot program in your office, like the office is kind of continuing, or you're doing it based on other universities which are currently going for in regards to artificial intelligence?
Our office doesn't, I don't believe, actually have anything to do with this. I believe this is something that's originating within like the computer science department itself. But we would like to get involved in it, and I believe it is just mirroring pushes at other schools to adopt AI from.
Yeah, of the UCs, what I can see, the UC San Diego adopted one beginning fall 2025. An AI major, that is. Bras?
A couple of things about the minoring and majoring issue. So I'm a College of Engineering student, so this would affect me. You mentioned that computer science is interested in possibly adopting a minor. Is that as like if I'm a computer science major, I can do a minor in another COE field, or is it more, for example, I'm a mechanical engineering student, I could have the opportunity of minoring in computer science?
To minor in computer
science. To minor in computer science. And then additionally, was there any word on minoring and majoring doubled in College of Engineering as an AI major? So for example, could I, as a mechanical engineer, minor in AI or major in AI doubly?
That was not something that the academic senate referenced to, since it's something different to what we were specifically communicating with them. But there, as I'm sure you probably know, their current policy is that you can't do a major within the College of Engineering. So I would imagine that the AI major wouldn't be any different in that regard. But given its close relation to computer science, I think that would be more possible and something we could probably try to explore with them.
Yeah, so from what Matthew has reported to me, of the is it 5 majors in COE? Okay. Computer science was essentially the only one to bite so far. And that means that if you're in another major, you can add computer science on as a minor. And as it stands, if you're in the College of Engineering, you can double major, but in another college, like you can dual enroll. I had a friend who was doing mechanical engineering and history. You're also doing something like that, right? Correct. Yeah. Just interesting. And obviously other schools, Matthew has reported on this in at length, and this could be something that is worthwhile making available to centers as well. Other UCs very much have the opportunity of even double majoring, correct? Like doing mechanical and
yes,
chemical.
Every other UC does.
Okay, lovely. Or majoring in one and then minoring in another, and that's simply not available. We don't have any information really on the AI major so far, but I think as we will keep pursuing this, I think that's a key one of whether there's a because of its interest, whether there's an exception for the AI one. So if you can major in that, can you minor something else, or vice versa? Can you add it on as minor or second major? Well,
Thanks for bringing this forward. I just wanted to understand what they need on, or what the College of Engineering needs on the table to show a progression towards these things actually being recognized. Did they give you steps to follow? And yeah, just how is your interaction with them on that level?
The interaction with the faculty executive committee, who's the group that discusses or I guess has the power over these matters, wasn't the best, quite honestly. We weren't very involved in what was going on with them. All we got was an email saying that they are, their decision, like what the individual programs decided on, and that to try, if we were interested in moving forward with this, that we would have to reach out to the computer science department and try to build something with them. They did say that the computer science department would consider it if there were, forget the exact rating, adequate resources, yes. But they did not specify what that meant to them, who to, actually discuss this with, or anything really productive about how to move forward.
Just morning.
I was hoping to ask as the CCS center here, how exactly, because my understanding is, so CCS has a computing major, and then COE has a computer science major, and I think some CS adjacent majors as well that are like all different things, like electrical engineering, things like that. I was hoping to ask how, if they even like disclosed any of this information, how the introduction of a new computer science adjacent major in COE would affect the way we do things at CCS, or if it would be, we would still have our computing major and then CCS computing majors would be able to maybe take the AI coursework as a supplement to what they're doing.
That is not something that they got into, but obviously that's why collaborating with you guys would be very important moving forward. Given that it would be within the College of Engineering, I would imagine that it wouldn't have much of an impact on the College of Creative Studies, but see, I am not sure.
Thank you, Matthew, for reporting on this. Super cool. It's been an initiative of some of my fellow senators and myself to look into potentially helping to create a business major or even a business economics major, like I think they have at UCLA. Is that something you and with your role as in the IVP's office, something you'd be interested in, or like looking into with us?
That is something that somebody has mentioned within the office, and I was definitely interested in looking into that. I was waiting to reach out to people that I didn't know who was working on it, but I would definitely be interested in looking into that with you guys and working on that. We were just waiting until we heard back from the faculty executive committee on this, and then we're gonna look into other pages.
Actually,
What's our order to start time for this?
It's our resource time.
Okay, yeah, I'll just talk to you right now.
Yeah, okay, let's go into a 15-minute recess. Sussman will be chairing when we come back. Thank you, Matthew.
It's me and Leo, and then
Yeah, we're live.
All right, guys, I apologize for not being muted for those watching on stream, all three of you. We are now in item I3, unit reports. Do I now have unanimous consent to move into action G or item G, action items?
Consent.
Wonderful. Senator Lucan.
I move to approve $175 from AS Senate Outreach Committee, account number 469, for park rental space in Isla Vista for a food truck event. Also, should I send you that language?
Yes, please.
Got it. You can text it to me.
Got it.
Going forward, if you guys have motions that are not on the agenda, if you can please email or text it to me, that'd be really
Yeah,
appreciated.
that's on me, bruh.
It's on you.
Come on, bro.
Senator.
Can I second and make a comment?
Sure.
Second, just quick, not even a question, actually just a reminder. So like for the food truck, like you're gonna hire someone, right? So you're gonna pay for a vendor?
No.
Like how is the state? Are you good? So basically, are you gonna hire someone to like operate the truck or?
Food trucks, we're renting the space for them to come, and then a portion of the profits is gonna go to AS. I'm working with Michael on it.
Oh, okay.
Please be recognized.
Sorry.
No worries. There's been a motion to approve $175 from AS Senate Outreach Committee account 469 for park rental space in Isla Vista for a food truck event. That was first and seconded by Senators Lucan and Zhang. We are now in discussion. Senator Thang.
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Are there any objections to call the question?
Consent.
Are there any objections to consent? Seeing none, motion passes. There is a motion, or there's a motion needed to amend the agenda to add
Point of order, is it not a hand vote? Financial decision?
or
Not passing funding, it's just approving money from our budget, so it's not.
Oh. No,
still, it is a financial motion, so. Yeah, let's go to the lead tracker.
Number two.
If that were true, we would have to hand vote on every single motion to bundle and approve all minutes and allocations.
That's the Attorney General advice on this one.
If you request a hand vote, one senator can request a hand vote and it is at the discretion of the chair or at a request of senator. Or you can vote on whether or not to go by hand vote, but
I rescind my.
That's not the question.
what
The question is, do we have to do a hand vote on it? Because it's a financial motion. And my thing is like, this is basically something that would be passed in our minutes. I'm doing it now because we might not have, we didn't pass in our minutes.
You're doing it on the Senate's behalf, so it is. The Senate is approving it for outreach, so the Senate is doing it, so it would be wise to do it by hand.
So yes, agree. So then, but like, that's fine. But then why don't we have to do that for every time we approve minutes and allocation?
You should be doing that for every, but you know. Have you guys looked at every single minutes and allocation? Have you guys gone through the minutes folder to be approved one by one, line by line? No.
Sorry.
Yeah, provide extra information for minutes. So what Senate do for approval of minutes is ratification. And what you're, like, the thing is that's distinctive of this motion is because it's a financial motion that was not on the agenda of the outreach committee. So it's Senate doing the allocation of money on behalf of outreach. That's why it's a financial motion amendment.
So in outreach, if this motion were made, we should do a hand vote on it in the committee.
Well, ideally, yeah.
Okay, yes, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that issue all cleared up?
Yes, thank you.
All right, so if you can go on to motion 2, we'll go ahead and do a hand vote for this one. Or a leave vote, sorry. Yeah, thank you, Senator Reese.
Point of information, are the senators online able to get onto the sheet and vote there, or do we need to have them do some sort of emoji or?
Senator Oleoton, if you would like to reflect your vote verbally, I can put it in the meeting minutes or put it in the
Yeah. I'm voting yes.
Yes. Proxy Lopez, were you able to get your vote in? Yes, you were. Thank you. And then Senator Harder is some for some privilege. Okay, Harder, yes or no? Or abstain? Abstain, beautiful. Okay, the total is 1202. Motion passed.
So the total is 17.
What was that?
We're still voting.
Oh, you guys are still voting. Gila is out. Right now.
No, Clara.
And
Okay, 1302.
1302, motion passes. Okay, there's a motion needed to amend the agenda to add a bill to establish standing policy 44, use of artificial intelligence and large language models as referred to outreach committee. Would the chair like to make that motion?
You don't think you need a motion, it should be, it's not physically on the agenda, but it's on the agenda. It's tabled last week, but whatever you want.
Previous attorney general told us differently, so up to you. Was that? Discretion?
I was saying, I'm fine making the motion just to be.
If it's,
You guys motioned to table it last meeting, so you guys did that, it's on the agenda, it's just not physically on the agenda.
so if the attorney general is okay with it, then we don't need to do this motion. Wonderful, okay, it is on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is a bill to establish standing policy 44, use of artificial intelligence and large language models, brought by Senators Lucan and Pasher. Would the first like to speak on it?
Am I the first?
No, Pashers.
Senators Pasher and former Senator Pasher, now Attorney General, Senator Pasher, now Attorney General, Pasher, would you like to speak on your bill? Senator Lucan.
Yeah, I mean, nothing new to add from previous discussions. It's a pretty, I hope, sound bill. And it just gives future attorney generals guidelines by which to approach questions surrounding artificial intelligence in the association. So I think it'll be potentially beneficial and it's a good thing to outline. So I'd encourage everyone to vote yes on adoption.
Is there such a motion present for adoption? Senator Ono.
I move to adopt a bill to establish standing policy 44, use of artificial intelligence and large language models in ASUCSB.
There has been a motion to adopt a bill to establish standing policy 44, use of artificial intelligence and large language models in ASUCSB. Is there a second? Senator Reese.
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Thang.
Call the question.
Question's been called. Is there any objection to the call question?
Senate.
Is there any objection to that consent? Seeing none, we now move into a hand vote. Move on to motion 3, please.
Point of information. This is probably a question for AG as well. This is just out of curiosity. When someone passed a bill on standing policy revision or bylaw revision or even constitutional revision, do they retroactively apply if it was known incidents in the past that, okay. That's by default?
Are you saying that when somebody commits a violation of legal code, but at the time of the violation, you go by the legal code that is in order, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Senator Olay-Olay-Ton, would you like me to reflect yours through verbal vote?
Yes, please. I'm voting yes, and I've been excused to leave at 9:30, so It's probably gonna be my last vote, just letting you guys know in case of other motions.
Thank you, Senator Leoton. Okay, the motion passes 12-0. Oh, no, we are missing one vote.
Senator Harder.
Senator Harder.
I'm mistaken. Thank you very much.
Motion passes 13-02. Congratulations to the authors. Okay, if there's no further items to be added to the agenda, Senator Reese.
Motion to amend the agenda, adding the appointment of Erica Shurkin under the temporary committee on student safety.
Let's go ahead and do that under appointments and resignations. Do you rescind your motion?
Yes, sir.
Are there-
Information, Chair, if I wanted to add something to discussion items, would we just move the discussion items for that, or should I put it on the agenda?
We could do it in discussion items or the acceptance of the agenda.
Thank you.
So,
Wait, I'm just, it's my own ignorance. I don't know the procedure. So if you're amending the agenda for a section, you should just do it within that section?
yes,
Okay, so that's,
or within the acceptance of the agenda.
okay, so that's like the only thing you would, that's an action item kind of that you do outside of action items pretty much?
Thank you. Are there any further action items to be added? If none, do I have unanimous consent to move into item M, appointments and resignations?
Consent.
Consent.
Senator Reese, would you like to make your,
Motion to amend the agenda, adding the appointment of Erica Shurkin under the temporary committee on student safety.
there's been a motion to amend the agenda, adding the appointment of Erica Shurkin under the temporary committee on student safety. Is there a second? Senator Chaudhry.
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator
Call
Lucan.
the question?
Question has been called. Is there any objections to the called question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Senator Reese,
Sorry, I yield.
Senator Lucan.
I move to amend the agenda and add the resignation of Lyndon Staley as member at large from the outreach committee.
You said the resignation?
Yes.
STALEY.
I texted it to you.
Oh, thank you. There's been a motion to amend the agenda and add the resignation of Lyndon Staley as member at large from Outreach Committee. Is there a second? Senator Reese.
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Chaudhry.
Call to question.
Question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Senator Soundararajan.
Motion to add the resignation of Senator Claro to the agenda.
Okay. There's been a motion to add the resignation of Senator Claro from the agenda. Is there a second?
A point of information should not be to the agenda.
Oh, yes. There's been a motion to add the resignation of Senator Claro to the agenda. Is there a second? Senator Lucan.
I have a point of order. I'm questioning I don't know, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I want to know, is this the proper procedure? Because I'd hate to mess something up and then have to go through a bunch of bureaucratic legal BS.
It's a policy 10 question, but I believe senators can remove other senators at any point. Is that wrong, Attorney General?
I consent to her answer.
Quite frankly, I wouldn't like to speak on something that is gray area or of not my purview. I would find it proper that the senator wishing to resign from his or her position, resign on their own via proper forms of communication to Senate leadership. But I don't know if you could secondarily ask JC.
This has happened before. Our interpretation is if you resign, it does not follow policy 10. It's a separate process. And if the person does not object, then it is considered consent to their resignation.
In the circumstance in which the resignation of the senators not here, there is no ability to object, so legally.
You could object for like, there's a period.
Wonderful, okay. All right, thank you. Senator Ono.
This could just be simplified by Senator Claro just sending an email to Senate leadership, and then this could happen like right now, and because we're just adding it to the agenda, and then we can just approve this under appointments and resignations. So I think that's kind of how we should just do this, besides like just kind of jumping around this entire gray area.
Yeah, the motion still has not been added to the agenda, so it is still on the floor. Senator Harder.
Second.
Motion has been moved in second. We are now in discussion. Senator Lucan.
Senator Sundarajan, can you confirm that Senator Claro asked you for this motion and is like intends to resign?
Well, Caleb or
Senator Sundarajan.
Caleb told Iman, and then Iman was supposed to do it, but then Iman had to leave, so Iman told me to do it.
Okay, I'm just gonna call.
Yeah, Senator Jang.
I can second testify because he actually texted me during the first half of the session when he said he's gonna resign.
Okay. From Senate leadership perspective, just as a senator, this is brand new to me. So I would prefer if we didn't. As the chair of this meeting, I don't want to force resign someone. I'm sure there's been communication and it's not ill intent whatsoever, but I don't want to resign someone without verbal confirmation from the Senate leadership perspective. That being the pseudo proxy of the IVP tonight. Senator Lucan.
I concur with what you just said, because also there's no material difference between him resigning now and next meeting. He can just stop working and then his resignation is just official as of next Wednesday if we approve it, so.
His speaker is very loud. If the first would like to.
Should I rescind my motion?
If you'd like, Pastor, is it Attorney General Pastor, is it okay if the first rescinds their motion or just the second have to rescind their motion first?
Well, yeah. We have to do.
Should we play Jeopardy music until the second walks back into the room? Or would you like to approve this?
Discussion, you could just. Whatever you.
I was gonna say we could approve this and then motion to strike the previous motion.
And then just vote now. Call the question.
The question's been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Exactly. Wait.
Is there any objection? You can call a hand vote as well.
I'd be weary to striking an appointment or resignation from the agenda.
No, it's not.
The motion add.
Right, but
this
you're going
to
to
the
motion
agenda.
to strike eventually, or you're going to vote on it.
No, we're in the motion.
No, this is a motion to add it to the agenda.
Can Harder rescind?
Are there any objections to the consent?
Objection. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, so he can rescind it.
Yeah.
And he can rescind it.
Or I was gonna say, I just want to see a hand vote and we can just vote no right now and people can also vote yes. but-
Either way.
I think that's the easiest option. Do you rescind your objection?
I shouldn't, right? No.
You should.
Oh, it should? Okay, yeah.
Objection rescinded?
Yes.
We now move into a hand vote. All those in favor, guys, a leave vote, on motion 4, please.
You can still call a hand vote as chair if you want.
I prefer the leave vote.
I think it may be faster to just.
Rescind the second.
Yeah.
Okay, hand vote. All those in favor, no? Or all those in favor, please raise your hands for aye.
Point of information, this is for the Caleb specifically.
To add to the agenda. All those opposed, nay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, thank you. Abstentions. Harder.
I abstain.
1, 2, 3, 4. That checks out because we lost Senator Owe Oyton. So we are at, what's that?
094, right?
Yes. Yes. No, 10-4, 0-10-4. Senator Reese.
Motion to amend the agenda, adding the appointment of Olivia Doss as a student representative under the temporary committee on student safety.
There's been a motion to amend the agenda, adding the appointment of Olivia Doss under the temporary committee of student safety as a student representative. Is there a second? Senator Harder.
A second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Ono.
Call question.
Question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to the consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Recognize the presence of Senator Wang. Can you add these to the agenda, please? I will go ahead and add these to the agenda real quickly. I got it. Second, you guys, my apologies. Okay. The appointments and resignations are updated from the amended votes. So with that being said, are there any motions to bundle and approve all appointments and resignations? Senator Zhang.
Motion to bundle approve all appointment and resignations.
There's been a motion to bundle and approve all appointments and resignations. Senator Reese.
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Manalo.
Call to question.
Question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Senator Harder.
You should have an email from Senator, within the next couple of minutes.
Point of information.
Senator Ono.
So can we just go back to appointments or resignations when this email comes through? And
Yeah, we can add it. Yes.
Thank you.
Senator Lincoln.
I don't understand why we can't just wait till next meeting. And when we can all be clear, we don't have to deal with this in here and then we can move on.
Senator Ono.
I just want to say, because he's a member of my committee, that like it'd be really helpful if he could just resign tonight. Then I don't have to deal with this at quorum.
Senator Lincoln.
We can add the resignation of him from advocacy committee.
If that's the case, then
We run into the same issue though. We need to.
Yeah. He needs to tender his resignation to Senate leadership regardless.
All clear on that? Okay, with that being said, there's a couple more things before we move into discussion items. Do I have unanimous consent to move into minutes and allocations? Okay.
Consent.
Is there any objection to consent? Seeing none, is there such a motion? Senator Zhang.
Motion to bundle approve all minutes and allocations.
There's been a motion to bundle and approve all minutes and allocations. Is there a second, Senator Ono?
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. We are now in discussion. Senator Manal.
Call to question.
Question's been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to consent? Seeing none, motion passes. I can confirm, I just received, I'm requesting my resignation as a senator. Thank you. So do with that which you will as the legislative body. If you wanna do that next week, you can do that next week. If you wanna do that tonight, you can do that tonight.
Whatever information,
Or
we just need to add that
Yeah,
to the resignations, right?
we would need to move back into item M, appointments and resignations, and add it.
Then I request that we do so.
Do we have unanimous consent to move into item M, appointments and allocations? Sorry, item M, appointments and resignations.
Consent.
Any objection by consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Or seeing none, we are now in appointments and resignations. Is there such a motion, President Senator Harder?
I move to add the resignation of Senator Caleb Claro, College of Letters and Science Senator. The agenda.
There's been motion to add the resignation of Senator Caleb Claro as College of Letters and Sciences Senator to the agenda. Is there a second, Senator Ono?
second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Fan.
Call the question.
Question's been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
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 Is there any objections to consent? Seeing none, motion passes. It is now on the agenda. It is on the very bottom of the appointments and resignations. Is there such a motion, President? Senator Fan?
Motion to approve the resignation of Caleb Claro as College and Letters and Science Senator. It's written incorrectly on the doc.
Is it actually?
It says College and Letters Science.
I can spell. You guys are reading wrong.
We're lucky to have you.
And a motion to approve the resignation of Caleb Claro as College of Letters and Sciences Senator. Is there a second? Senator Jang.
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Ono.
I just like to take this brief moment to say that my committee is now down 2 senators. So we are open for business if you would like to join my committee. I am a little flabbergasted by this because I was not notified in advance. Sorry to air that out, but like I just think that's kind of important that we deal with these things professionally. So from here on out, just please note that. And yeah, if you would like to work with my committee, please do so.
Senator Jang.
Just to ease your nerve a little bit, we did pretty well with 2 senators. So, well, actually 1, so, well, 2 actually. Yeah, two, yeah.
Senator Fan.
I think they're talking to me. Is it, we have.
We're still in discussion.
Oh, call the question.
Thank you.
Senator Jang, call the question. You cannot call the question on your own, so. Well, first, Senator Reese.
Call the question.
Question has been called. Is there any objections to call the question?
Yeah.
Is there any objections to consent? Seeing none, motion passes.
Order also, it on this, under the resignations of the minutes appointments, it's also wrong, so just like fix that under the.
You're reading that wrong again, Senator Fan.
And letters, no, 76 AS UCSB Senate resignation as College Letters Sciences. He's gaslighting.
You were reading that wrong.
Just the motion to approve is wrong.
You were reading that wrong. Very generally.
Kind of information. It'd be helpful if you just let some of us help your typing.
I have parliamentary and Senate early on typing duty, but thank you, Senator Jang. College of Letters. College of Letters and Science. Okay, with that being said, minutes have been approved. Appointments, resignations have been approved. Are there any things to add to the agenda? Or, Senator Lee?
This is in legal code and I don't know if this still applies, but under Article 3 officers, section 3 vacancy. It does say that an office shall be declared vacant upon formal announcement during the action items portion of the Senate meetings to the Senate of the removal, disqualification, or resignation of an officer. I don't know, I don't think we have to do that today, but just wanted to make everyone aware.
I didn't hear any of that.
Oh. In Article 3, officers, section 3 of our legal code for vacancies, it says an office shall be declared vacant upon formal announcement during the action items portion of the Senate meetings to the Senate of the removal, disqualification, or resignation of an officer, specifically an elected officer. So just wanted to make the body aware of that. Like, we don't have to do that today, but preferably as soon as possible.
Senator Lee, is that constitution or bylaws?
This is in the Constitution, I believe.
Thank you.
Or no, sorry, this is in the bylaws.
AG, do you have any?
What article and is this in, are you looking at Bill to Clean Up Legal Code, or are you looking at 2024, 2025?
Yeah, I'm looking at the live version right now, so that's why I'm not sure if it's applicable. but just
I
wanna-
will look at 3 different versions and get back to you.
Thank you.
Attorney General, if you'd like to notify the Senate within the next week how to proceed, we
Yeah,
really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, Senator Than.
Yeah, motion to add.
Let's move into the acceptance of the agenda. Do I have unanimous consent to move into acceptance of the agenda?
Consent.
Objection.
Senator Chang.
Have a amend to be made.
This would,
Agenda.
this would be under acceptance of the agenda.
Oh. My bad.
Senator Than.
Motion to add under discussion items, BCU liaisonship. Actions,
Could you email this to me?
that's it. Oh, yeah. Single class. There's BCU liaisonship, it's just two, yeah.
There's been a motion to add under discussion items BCU liaisonship. Is there a second? Senator Santarajan. Motion has been moved and second. We are on discussion. Senator Manalo. Question has been called. Is there any objections to the call to question? Is there any objections to that consent? Seeing none, motion passes. It is now on the agenda. Senator Zhang.
Motion to amend and add under discussion items, allocation of AS president office, ASPO budget.
ASOP.
Yes.
Motion to amend, there's been a motion to amend the agenda and add under discussion items allocation of the ASOP budget. Is there a second? Senator Than.
Second.
Motion's been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Reese.
Call the question.
Question's been called. Is there any objections to call the question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to consent? Seeing none, motion passes. Both items will not be on the agenda. Second, you guys. Senator Than.
For closed discussion motion, should it be here or should it be under?
Under discussion items.
Okay, no, for closed discussion.
To enter closed discussion?
Yeah, would be discussion items.
Would be, if you want to enter closed discussion right now, that would preferably be under discussion items. If you're wanting to add it to the agenda, that's the place that we can do it right now.
But since it's not added to the agenda, is it necessary to add it to the agenda or can I just enter it close? Okay.
You can enter it when we're in discussion items.
Thank you.
Is that right, Attorney General? Thank you. Okay, is there a motion to accept the agenda as amended? Since we're just under acceptance of Senator Than.
Motion to accept the agenda as amended.
There's been a motion to accept the agenda as amended. Is there a second? Senator Wang.
Second.
Question, or the motion has been moved in second. We are now in discussion. Senator Manala.
Call the question.
Question's been called. Is there any objections to the call to question?
Consent.
Is there any objections to consent? Seeing none, we now move into item L, discussion items, beginning with BCU liaisonship.
Yeah, I'll just say here, I guess, but I'm technically right now going to try to stay neutral because I'll be representing what program board said to me in a meeting. I already emailed them and Chair Wahidullah also emailed them regarding the acceptance that, or the disclosure that this would be public, a public thing, and as well as they were very neutral about this being a public record, because so this is about something in closed discussion. Is it allowed to be said right now?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Is the thing that we talked about program board in closed discussion, as if no, but this is regarding their answer to something that we said in closed discussion.
Sean, JC, AG, give you some advice here. Seeing that it was confidential and closed discussion should remain in such confidentiality, is that correct?
I feel.
AG?
My position is, I am not I have no legal authority outside of, AS. But the way that I've interpreted it is that we do not fall under the Brown Act. And I do believe that any, call upon the Brown Act has been struck from a bill to clean up legal code. So again, I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's the information that I can provide you. I'm not gonna give you a yes or no.
Point of information.
Sorry, Jay.
I could just be confused. You mentioned they give you the permission to talk about what they said in a closed session you guys had?
They gave me permission to explain something that we talked about in closed discussion. It is about the Senate liaisonship, about senators being allocated to different BCUs, which we talked about in closed discussion, but all of the BCU chairs know about it because Wahidullah said it at their chair meeting. And this is simply a response. We talked about it in closed discussion and it was mentioned only in closed discussion, but the chair already knows about it. I'm just asking if I can say it because we mentioned it in closed discussion. Okay, it's about them not wanting a BCU senator at their board meetings, which is something we talked about closed discussion. They themselves said they didn't want. Okay, they themselves, the reasoning they have for that, and which is why I wanted this to be public so that we have transparency, is because they are scared that senators entering to and fro into their board meetings, despite us having officio membership, will break confidentiality of their artists. They say that they have a special not privilege, but a special like ability as program board because they have the trust of agents and artists to prevent disclosure of the artist's existence or artist being at program board's events. And they've had issues years prior of people doing leaks of it. So they do not believe, or they don't wish for a senator to be allowed at their meetings. And I told them upfront that I don't think that's okay. And that I mean, that I would bring it up to Senate, obviously, because I don't represent Senate. And yeah, that was some of the main things. And I can answer any specific questions, but also don't want to misrepresent what the commissioner was saying.
Senator Lucan.
I think I see two really easy fixes to this issue. As ex officio members, senators should be allowed in their meetings. However, I don't see a reason why they couldn't also enter closed discussion in their meetings about privileged topics.
It's about they don't want senators in their closed discussion.
Okay, so then they can just motion to enter closed discussion without senators. That's like their prerogative, I feel like.
Okay, sounds good. I'll let them know that, as well as just they want warnings of who's coming then. To their.
It's for a threat. Senator Lee.
I mean, a solution similar to what Senator Lucan was saying is just scheduling a time ahead of time where having a Senate liaison does not mean that the senator is gonna be going to every meeting, has to know everything going on at all times, but it's just to form that relationship. So you could just my idea is just mention hey, having a senator that you trust to be your liaison, one, and then two, the relationship can be established where it's this is our meeting, you could come between these times just so we could give you our updates, you could give you the Senate updates, and then that could be that. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. And I think their point is fair. They do talk about a lot of confidential issues that maybe they wouldn't want to share to any senator. So I just I don't think it has to be that big of a deal.
Senator Harder.
Yeah, the way that I interpreted the liaison model was very relational, and by nature of a relationship, it's unique to the individuals that participate in that relationship. And program board and whoever the liaison can establish the terms of their relationship, right? That's the definition of a relationship. So if it's program boards, if it's in their interest to establish that term within the relationship with their liaison, then I personally don't see a significant issue with that. It makes sense to me.
Thank you, Senator Harder. Are there any further comments? Senator Sonarajan.
Mayor, I'm the liaison for program board, so like, if it's okay with you, like, do you mind if I tell them all this? Absolutely. So that way, like, I'm able to like, cause like, they look like kicked me out last meeting, so I was like, so look, I wanna like rebuild the relationship, so.
Can I answer?
Oh, Senator Tan.
They actually mentioned that a senator that they did not know entered their meeting, which is why they wanted to talk to me. And they were like a little stressed about that. Another thing is, I don't know if we wanna, never mind, I'm done, I yield.
Thank you, Senator Tan. Senator Zhang.
Yeah, I have a quick comment. I don't know if I'm in a position to give like suggestion of like how to form relationship or how to form bonding with people. But just in terms of program board, I do have prior contact with them just because we have MOU with program board. And there has been like a need of communication that has not been established in prior years. And what I find really helpful is what I did is like, do you notice, because program board office is right next to ASMA. So there are times if you come to ASMA and you might see their officers like sitting around like in there just chilling. When they open their doors, it's basically when they're just like open for communication. You can just stop by and kind of introduce and kind of talk about like something. And I feel like that's just a smoother way of doing it without them seeing we are just trying to intrude their space, which, you know, people have different take on this, but I just probably helpful, maybe not.
Appreciate your guidance, Senator Zhang. Senator Sonarajan.
Oh yeah, and it was just like, that's like the place where I went, it was like the not flying room, it was one of the rooms in here. And like
State Street room.
See, that's Harbor Room, the Harbor Room, yes. I thought that's where it's set to be at 5, so I just went there, but yeah, look, yeah, I've seen them at like, during advocacy meetings, they all look.
Thank you, Senator Sonarajan. Sean, did you have something?
Oh, no, I just wanted to say that everyone had great solutions, and like, I agree with the creativity on it, and I believe from program board's history, it's just that they probably also want a consistent person to build that relationship. I think it's been discussed, as opposed to a series of 10 different senators popping in who they do not know and have not built a relationship with. And that's probably the thing that has like triggered this kind of response. And because previously how the liaison like relationship worked was different than it is now. And it was just, this is your person for the year, that's it. You get to know that person the first meeting, and then you get to know more for the next 10 weeks, the 10 weeks after that. And then it's like, fine, there might be trust, they might sit in on those closed sessions. But like now how it exists, they don't have that, and they've lost the institutional memory of what that felt like.
Thank you, Sean. Senator Lucan.
I have a comment back about the Brown Act, if this is the appropriate time, or I can wait as well.
Sure.
So Senator Harder and I were actually talking to one of the board members of IBCSD recently, and he just made in passing a comment about how, oh yeah, I forget what we were talking about, but he's like, oh yeah, it's funny how you guys can just go into closed session really for whatever you want, you know, like in our meetings. I think he said literally the words, we have to follow the Brown Act, and we can only go into closed session for like 3 specific things, like salaries of their staff, something and something. And so I would concur with, this is to add to and concur with the opinion of the Attorney General that it seems like we may have more leeway with our closed discussions, and that we might not be directly subject to the stipulations of the Brown Act.
Sure. Senator Harder.
I tend to agree with what's being said in general, because we technically do have the ability to do it. I hear Senator Lucan's point that I recognize that we have the ability to do it. And that ability is something that we should exercise when it's appropriate. But my opinion, especially after having coincidentally attended a series of deliberative bodies over the course of the past couple weeks, City of Goleta, Santa Barbara, the county, etc. My opinion is that the appropriate term, the word appropriate that I use is of extreme importance. We have the ability to do it, as Senator Lucan recognized, we have that ability, but we really, really should do it only when it's appropriate. And we should consider ourselves on par with the other deliberative bodies that we operate within and around. It's it's our reputation that we have to uphold.
Thank you, Senator Lucan, or Senator Harder. My apologies. Okay, if there's nothing else, do we have unanimous consent to move into the next discussion item, which is allocation of the ASOP budget? Senator Shang that brought this item forward. The ASOP budget.
Oh, sorry, I was on the alphabet. Yeah, so, I think you guys probably still have vivid memory of, the slides that was presented. I just have a few more comments which relate to the same question I asked, our president, which was presenting it. I was just a little bit confused. Also, I just checked the legal code of the responsibility of the officers, in the, office of the president. When I was looking at it, I was still confused because a lot of event when she was listed out is more of like events that was supposed to be allocated to, like, for example, Transfer Student Alliance, Transfer Student Center, CAUSEWeb. Yeah, I understand the point that like they need more funding, but I still stick with my stance that I would really appreciate to have that funding to the specific entities that we delegate to coordinate those events, rather than have them to be transferred to Office of President and have like the office like redelegate again. And I was checking the legal code of the responsibility, and in all of the officers, like description of their responsibility, it's mostly about like coordination with entities, like what, for example, the trans student represent, I don't remember the specific name of the officer, but the officers related to transfer student area of like programming. It says specifically that it was about coordinating among, like, as representative of the president's office to like Transfer Student Center, Transfer Student Alliance, and coordinate related events when, like, you know, per year. And I'm like, I just don't think it's needed for all those things to be planned out by the president's office when we have entities that specifically for that purpose, and the Office of President could support in ways of coordination or provide like organizational support. But I don't think it's necessary that we have to fund all those events, especially when there's a huge realm of repetition. So I did a new number based on my recommendation of removing some of the ones that I think it's not necessarily, of course, the honoraria, I think is fair. I'm saying the other part of it, just in terms of special project, and what I get is 8,100. 8,100 plus,
8,100.
not plus the honoraria. I mean, plus the honoraria will be like, can somebody help me out a little bit?
Do you have the honoraria listed on the spreadsheet?
Yeah. Was 1,000?
11,300.
11,000? No, I won't have that.
Significantly less.
Yeah, 913,000.
So Senator Zhang, would you like to further have conversations with the president before next week about this, so that we fund it? Because she indicated that funding does need to be passed sooner rather than later, either this week or the next. So would you like to take that up and have some sort of spreadsheet and delegation for funding by next Wednesday?
Is it not enough that I'm providing my financial professional insight as the chair of finance committee? Can we have somebody else help me out a bit? Do you want to take on the job?
Sure.
What? Yay. Okay.
Senator Lucan?
Yeah, just to add to the discussion, so I really agree with Senator Zhang, and I appreciate her bringing that up. Some other things for us to consider. If this comes out of Senate unallocated, we will be funding with our designated fund the president and her initiatives, which is great if you agree with their initiatives, but we're passing all that money off to receive no credit for it. Not that that is the end all be all, but it's something to consider. To that point, I think it would be prudent to certainly fund the honoraria, 1. 2, consider taking it out of undesignated instead of a Senate unallocated, 2. And 3, to fund part of to pass funding for part of what she requested, but not all. To encourage like, one, efficient spending of the money. And then two, to keep her in collaboration with us on how the funding is spent. And so that we don't seem that we are passing funding whenever someone asks for it, because in my view, not that I have any thoughts on how the president would spend it, because I think she would do a great job, but I think that it is financially irresponsible for a body to send money to any entity just because they ask for it and be at their beck and call.
Senator Jack.
Yeah, I just have a bit, I totally support with what Senator Lucan just talked about. Just a little bit of context for the undesignated, unallocated. I can't pinpoint when legal code said this. Probably AG can help me out on that, but technically you can only use undesignated after you dried up your allocated. It was a replenishing kind of account for the allocation. So like you can just do it through unallocated if you want.
Senator Harder.
I yield.
Senator Lucan.
Wait, so are you saying that if the president has used her entire fund, we could just motion then from undesignated for her? Would it
No, I
not
mean,
be
it can only use when you use the unallocated account. Set it unallocated.
So we can only motion from undesignated once we've used up unallocated.
Yes.
Got it, okay.
Senator Harder, do you? Senator Manala.
So in its, just a point of information to Senator Jack. So the unallocated would have to be used up in its entirety before we go into undesignated. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is there any further conversation on this subject? Senator Lee.
I think also having, like, I agree with everything Senator Zhang and Senator Lucan said. I think having like a formal budget, like we typically require of all entities requesting money from us, would be helpful, not just one on a slideshow. And a lot of the ideas that she has are hypothetical, and we don't want to just give a sum of money for events that might not even happen. And I also concur with what Senator Zhang said about legal code. There's not anything explicit in legal code about the office of the president doing projects, and that's the direction that she wants to take this year, which is great. And I do agree that like the president's office should get more money to be able to have the agency to host these events, but a lot of them do fall under BCUs, could be work in collaboration with BCUs with the office of the president's name still on it. And yeah, I don't think we should rush into allocating $32,000 just for special projects to the president's office.
Senator Ono.
I think you guys bring up important points. Personally, I feel okay with handing over this money with conditions like basically just up to like an up to clause, and then we can have the rest of the funds cycle back to the Senate account. But I mean, I think you're right that some of these could be reorganized into BCU collaborations, but I will say personally, I think that is kind of like a bit of a pain. It doesn't mean that shouldn't happen, but yeah, I think I'm still okay with the money being given with clauses added to the motion if there is a motion.
Senator Harder.
What do people?
Yeah, I think everyone has brought up excellent points. The only thing that I feel like I have to add is that we need to ensure that the president is being held accountable for the role that she's been given and that she's been entrusted to be given, that she's been entrusted with. I think that it's an excellent idea for her to embark on other projects, but I only think that it's appropriate for her to do so if the responsibilities that she's been given are being met. And today, when she presented to us, there was very few comments on the actual responsibilities that were given to her in legal code. Namely, actually managing the association, right? You know, some of these other things. Being a representative of us to the rest, to administrators, etc. I'm not saying in any capacity that she's not doing her job, but what I am saying is that her effectiveness at her job is a little bit ambiguous to me at the moment. I'm not saying she's not doing good. She just didn't necessarily present to us that she was. And I want to see that. I want to see that everything that we're trusting her to do is being done before we enable her to do another project, before we enable her to do anything additional. I think that makes sense to me. That's the only contribution that I have.
Is there anything else on this item? Senator Lucan.
I think it'd be wise for us to, as we've had a somewhat robust discussion on this, to yes, talk to the president this week, hopefully, and get some more information. Two, hopefully hear a report from her next week. We can request her to come and give us a report on the carrying out of her legal code duties and her role as president, because again, I don't think anyone doubts that she's doing a good job, but it would be nice to hear her speak to some of her primary duties as president. And then three, we can finalize how much we're going to pass next week and not rush into it now. So I'd recommend that we try and take care of those things this week and make any motions to pass funding next week.
I'll speak in my semi-chair Senate capacity. It's odd. I think if there is any sort of email correspondence, it should be with the Senate, Senate-wide. So that way there's more information going into next week. So that way we're not held into, not knowing what was said over email correspondence, or if it's in-person correspondence, there's some sort of Senator Harder.
Yeah, very quickly, I just want to clarify my position. I don't think that President Metzger is doing a bad job. I just think that we need a more robust presentation of what she's accomplished, a detailed presentation of what she's accomplished, because it is our job to hold her accountable. And it's in the students' best interest to hold each other accountable. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Anything else? If not, are there any further discussion items to add? Senator Penn.
Motion to enter a closed discussion regarding the following: staff organization, BCUs, internal job description and affairs, with all elected officials, AS minute takers and Senate present.
Did you email that to me?
Yes, present is in the wrong area though. That's it.
Give me 1 second. There's been a motion to enter a closed discussion regarding the following: staff organization, ECUs, internal job descriptions and affairs, with all elected officials present, with all elected officials, AS minute takers. Sorry, with all elected officials, AS minute takers and Senate present. Is there a second? Senator Ono.
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Manal.
Good question.
Motion has been called. Is there any objection to the call to question?
Objection.
Senator Harder.
Yes. And remaining consistent with what I said previously, I would just like an explanation as to why we're moving into closed session, a detailed explanation.
We are in discussion. Senator Penn.
Answer. It concerns several finances, also the internal job descriptions.
Yeah, we objected. It's not in discussion.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Do you rescind your objection?
I rescind my objection.
Thank you. Attorney General Pasha. We're now in discussion. Senator Penn.
So then there are several just like name drops that we don't want to put it into public because, it concerns like specific individuals and we don't want to like harm their reputation outside of the things that we say, so that we can discuss it in a public manner. Additionally, there are financial like specific like budget fund ones in terms of the BCUs. And the internal job descriptions itself says for internal use only, so those can't, I'm assuming, because I do want to talk to them as a Senate-wide, so that we don't have to have private correspondence to each different senator in small groups. And that I assume would also require to be in closed session.
Two things. For your motion, Senator Penn, just to clarify, this doesn't include staff. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. And Senator Manala, did you? Senator Harder.
Yes, I hear everything and I agree with the stuff that's sensitive information. But I am just expressing my concern that there's a potential that we're conflating things that should not be included in a closed session with things that should be included in the closed session. And it could be potentially harming for us as a body, and it could potentially worsen the issue that we have with student confidence and VCU confidence. That's simply my opinion. Do with it what you will.
We're still in discussion, Senator Fan.
Could you just specify which ones you believe shouldn't be in it, and then maybe we could reach an agreement if everyone else in Senate has no comment?
Senator Harder.
Yeah, I do feel like some of the things, I feel like for the BCU situation specifically, we have exhausted what is in general acceptable for a closed discussion on that matter. And that discussion specifically should be elevated to the public gaze. Everything else seems to be appropriate, but I do think that we are starting to cross the line of abuse of our powers by including the BCU thing specifically. However, if someone can make an argument against that, I'm wholly down to hear it. And I'm also one senator, and I have the power allotted to me, which is essentially just voicing my opinion at the moment. So I yield.
Senator.
Hypothetically, if one cannot provide a counter argument without things they wish to be discussed in closed session, how that paradox can be resolved in this situation?
You guys can also just ignore me and just go into closed session.
No, I don't think that's fair. As you said, every senator is allocated with specific power that they're supposed to be.
Are you asking for some guidance on this?
Yeah.
Well, we're still in discussion, so what can happen is if the first and second want to revise the motion at hand, they can take their names off the motion. And one second, Senator Logan. I'll get to you. And if things that are not wanted to be discussed in closed session, then we can add that to the agenda and talk about that in public discussion items.
How about,
Senator Shank.
oh, yeah, sorry, not right now. How about I propose a middle ground that we talk about the situation in closed session, and if any moment you think this should be publicly available, just motion to exit the closed session, and we shall proceed with the public.
Senator Lincoln.
I think I'm gonna make a motion that will, I think we should vote on this motion. I'm gonna make a motion to amend the motion. We can vote on it and see how the body feels. If I'm recognized.
Can you forward this motion to me?
Sure, it's simple.
Oh, okay.
I move to amend the motion and strike BCUs.
Then a motion to amend the motion and strike BCUs. Is there a second, Senator Manal?
Second.
Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion on the subsidiary motion. Senator Hart.
Call the question.
Question's been called. Is there any objection to the call to question? So
We do hand vote?
we can do a hand vote. All right. So it's for you guys. If you vote yes on the motion, it's striking the word BCUs. Sean? If you're striking the word BCUs, then we enter closed discussion without discussing BCUs. And if you vote no, then BCUs are kept in that original motion to go into closed discussion. Any confusion? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into a quick hand vote. Sorry, we're not gonna easily vote for it. All right. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Noes, nays. 1, 2, 3. Abstentions. 1, 2, 3. 9, 3, 3. The ayes have it. So we are still in the original motion, which is a motion to enter closed discussion regarding the following: staff organization, internal job descriptions, and affairs with all elected officials, as minute takers, and Senate present.
Point of order real quick, do we have 16 senators?
15.
It would be 15.
I'm sorry,
which
that was my bad, my math was not mathing.
I crossed into some questionable territory as chair, but also Senator, do you think it would be beneficial to have an interim executive director to help discuss at least the job description portion?
No.
Okay. Judicial counsel.
The AG and I are not elected officials.
So sorry, then
Senator Lincoln.
I move to amend the motion and add Attorney General and Judicial Counsel. Sorry, Attorney General, Judicial Counsel, comma, Judicial Counsel after AS minute takers.
There's been a motion to amend the original motion and add Attorney General and Judicial Counsel after AS minute taker.
So after AS minute takers is out of the quotation of what I'm adding.
After AS minute takers, is there a second, Senator Giosmoni? Motion has been moved and second. We are now in discussion. Senator Harder.
Go to question.
Question's been called. Is there any objections to call the question? Is there any objections to consent? Seeing none, motion passes. We're still in the original motion at hand, which is a motion to enter a closed discussion regarding the following staff organization, internal job descriptions, and affairs with all elected officials, AS minute takers, Attorney General, and Judicial Counsel, and Senate present. Senator Chang.
Call the question.
Question's been called. Is there any objections to the call to question? Seeing none, motion passes. We now enter a closed discussion.